That's $10,000, Connor. Ha ha! Yeah, 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 yeah. You're a mean one, Mr. Schmidt. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Schmidt. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Schmidt. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You got garlic in your soul, Mr. Schmidt. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Look, folks, yes, I get it. I lost. I understand that I lost. I wish, there's a way, because, when I usually do this show, I just start out and I talk about anything else that's in my head or whatever the fuck just happened. And like just now, I was just here boring Lily with my life for the last hour and a half and telling her what was up. And she's just like, you've got to stop being you at some point, right? And I'm just like, I can't.
You have to be you.
That's what it was. I was getting to that. I was going to make fun of you. Why do you get so mad? I was going to say that. She told me to stop being things that I'm not and to start being myself. And I got to tell you, I have never received worse advice in my life. I don't know if Lily's just as big a fan of chaos as I am, but if you're rooting for me to be the guy that I want to be, Jesus Christ, I got news for you. That's going to be trouble. Because I was just telling her, I go, you know what I want to be? A fucking sociopath. Because I think I am a sociopath. And she just goes, you're not a sociopath. No. She goes, I don't think you're a sociopath. And I said, well, yeah, I don't think I am either, but I want to be one. But you can't. You know why? Because I'm poor. If you're poor, you can't be a fucking sociopath. I can't. If I was rich, I could be a fucking sociopath. That'd be fucking fantastic. But I have sociopathic tendencies. Unfortunately, I'm poor, so I can't execute them. That's fucking terrible, right? That's a terrible feeling. If you want to be fucking horrible to everybody, but you can't because you're poor and you got to be nice to everyone, God damn it. I hate being nice to everyone. Fuck that. I walked upstairs today to get here into her house, and out in the hallway, I forgot, what was I singing? I was singing something, or I was talking. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Singing at the top of your lungs.
It was not the top of my lungs.
Yes.
No.
You had headphones
I
on.
can hear myself, and I know how to deal with headphones.
Louder than you are now.
I'm 46 years old, and that's a lie. But I know how it is when you have headphones on. Because earlier this
I
week,
heard it in the kitchen.
these are lies. But anyway, I was doing that, and she opens the door, and I got earbuds in, so I can't hear her obviously because I'm singing at the top of my lungs. And she just looks at me. She opens the door and she just goes shh, and I just see her mouthing, and I just see like the words like neighbor, work, late, sleep. I don't fucking know. I don't know what it was.
Christmas.
And I just in my head I'm just like, hey, I'm fucking singing here. What is wrong with you? Fa la 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 fucking la. Let's sing, goddammit. It's fucking Christmas. I'm decking the halls with my voice, and that's what's fucking happening. Let's fucking celebrate. Let's have a thing. Let's get a tree and a wreath and have a good time with all the people here in the oldest building in fucking Hollywood. But no, they gotta sleep because they gotta work. They're worried about fucking Christmas and all this other bullshit. No thanks. No thank you. But if I was rich, I wouldn't give a fuck. I would walk up here in a fucking Speedo and just fucking sing and not care, wear my Richie Rich outfit and walk around, and a guy came out to beef me and I'd stab him with my golden fucking fork. Take that! So normally I would get on this show, and I would do what I just did. I would do that. I would be distracted, and I would talk about other things. But you know what you're here for, right? You guys know why you're here. And it's so funny because then after it happened, like on Facebook, everybody's like, I can't wait to hear the show describing this. And I go, in my head, like, what could you possibly want to hear? I lost. I mean, there's no reason to fucking go into like long explanations of it. You saw me fucking get destroyed. It was terrible. It was so fucking horrible. And let's deal with this right now. All right, let's deal with this. I'm going to deal with just this part of it. Well, no, I can't deal with this yet. I'll deal with this later in the show. Because I was down, man. I won't lie. I got here and I was in my head. I'm going, I can't. How do I talk about it without sounding fucking completely crushed and defeated and like fucking upset? Because I am. Clearly I am. But I will tell you this. All right, let's talk about this for a second. I was on the Wheel of Fortune Wednesday night, last night. Yes, I was. And I've been telling you about this for months. I mean, I filmed it in November, but I auditioned in April, and all of this. You guys have followed it like a goddamn saga. Because again, more of a book than a movie, as you know. We've all read them. Now we're up to the last chapter. Last night, tonight, which is Wednesday night, I actually watched the show. I should tell you that. What time is it now? It's like 9?
9:42.
9:42 p.m., folks. So let me tell you about a sleepless night that our friend Lily's going to have. Because I was supposed to record this show yesterday. And then right about an hour before I was supposed to do it, I had like a weird panic attack where in my head I go, you know what? It was all a blur. Like everything that happened was a blur, and I want to make sure that I have it right. I want to make sure that I can deal with exactly how I felt in the moment other than completely fucking destroyed. So I wanted to see the show before I did this show. I wanted to have it fresh in my mind, and I wanted to tear the scab off is quite frankly what I wanted to do. I wanted to absolutely tear the fucking scab off and bleed all over this fucking microphone for you guys. So I contacted Lily yesterday, and I said, hey, that's a long shot because it's Christmas Eve now, and you were doing a nice thing to record with me on Christmas Eve, but is there any way we can do this tomorrow? And I don't care, late or early, whatever time you want to do it, I'm happy to do it. And I mean that. I totally meant that. I wanted to see the show, but if she said we can go tomorrow at 8 a.m., I would have done it because I'm trying to accommodate my friend Lily because she's got a life and she doesn't need to be fucking giving me her Christmas and her Christmas Eve and all this other bullshit that she's got going on because she's got a fucking clown and she's got a family to visit and she's got a crock pot of shit to make and she's got to go ahead and... she's got to buy cards and then pass them all out and realize she has one left over and put my name on it on accident for some reason. Because that just happened, folks. I came in here and she goes, hey, I want to give you this. It's a card for you. And I go, Jesus Christ, Lily, I didn't grab you anything. And she goes, it's just a card. I go, I understand that, but now I look like a dick. And she goes, no, you don't. As a matter of fact, we gave all the cards away. We had one left, and I just decided to put your name in it. I go, well, let's not make me a fucking afterthought at this point. That seems weird. Wouldn't I be the fucking first one you filled out?
You would take the card.
You should make me the first guy. I should have been the first one you filled out. I should be right on the top.
Actually.
You should find the best card and fill it out and put it in the nicest envelope and then put it aside for me so I can fucking get a hold of it and realize and deny it. Well, it's funny that you would mention that, Lily, because we will be having 40-Year-Old Boy Christmas a little later in the show.
We are?
Yes, we will.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know if you saw when I came in, I got a stack of stuff to open,
Holy shit.
courtesy of our P.O. box. Some really cool people sent us some really cool stuff and some cards, and I have not opened any of it. So we will be opening it on the air for people to listen to.
Oh, dear Lord, this could break bad.
It could. I don't know if...
Baby Jesus.
Oh, what if somebody sent us the baby Jesus?
Oh, baby Jesus. And you haven't opened it yet.
He's probably suffocated. Oh, that's awful.
That baby Jesus.
You know what? He'll be back Saturday. Come on, that's not bad for right in the moment, really quick, 3 days off the top of my head. If baby Jesus suffocates in this package, sure enough, he just shows up Saturday. That's 3 days, right?
But what if he's been dead for 3 days and he was resurrected in there because it's been a week since you opened it?
I don't care for your Christian math. Where's the cave? Where's the magic cave? We just got to throw the box in a cave and roll the rock in front of it, and then boom, he shows up again in 3 days, right?
Where's the magic? Is it the back cave out at Griffith Park?
Yeah, it's where you know what? You're not far off. It's like the Lazarus pit where Ra's al Ghul goes. We'll just throw Jesus in the Lazarus pit, and he'll come out and fight Batman. Holy shit, that'd be awesome! Merry fucking Christmas! Jesus versus Batman, I'm in. Because I saw Jesus versus Santa on the South Park thing, the Spirit of Christmas. But Jesus versus Batman, you got to watch that, right?
Why would Jesus fight Batman? They're on the same side.
But you know what? Because Jesus is pissed off. That's why. Because he's fucking furious about all these people doing stupid shit in his name, and he wants to take everybody out. And he's going to start with their champion, their hero, Batman. Jesus wants Batman. He wants a piece. He totally wants to take him out. And Jesus can fight, probably, right? He's 33. He's in the prime of his life. I don't know. Who's fighting, though? Middle Eastern skinny Jesus or like white God Jesus that everybody draws? The guy that everybody's like, well, that's the guy that everybody out here invented. They're like, dude, let's make a Jesus who looks like one of the Allman Brothers. That's perfect. He's in. Because odds are that Jesus was like a tiny little black guy, right? Isn't that the rumor? That's the rumor about Jesus. As opposed to all the other rumors about Jesus, like him existing. But yeah, out here, everybody's just like, dude, we totally need a Jesus who looks like he's in Nickelback. Done. Give him some hair. He's in. That's perfect. Canadian Jesus looks like he's in Nickelback. I apologize. American Jesus does not look like he's in Nickelback. American Jesus just looks like fucking Jason Lee from Stillwater in Almost Famous. American Jesus fucking puts shaving cream in his hair and slicks it back. Yes. American Jesus gets you off. That's what he does.
Oh, geez.
He gets people off. You got that, the enemy? Fuck, I should have watched Almost Famous today. You know what? Let's call it a rain out. Let's watch Almost Famous right now. Let's do it. Let's do it, Lily.
Let's not.
So Lily, yesterday receives my text as I tell her, I'm like, hey, I can't be there. And she's just like, well, all right. I didn't say I couldn't be here. I asked her if there was a way I could do it. And this is the text I got from Lily. And quite frankly, I think this is her auto response at this point for anyone, not just me. I'm not feeling well. That was that was like literally the first thing that I read off what she sent me. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I'm canceling then because I don't want to fucking ruin your Christmas Eve even more by making you be sick in a chair. But yeah, so she wasn't feeling well anyway. So I guess I didn't feel so bad about canceling on her yesterday because I would have come here and seen her be sick and terrible, and then I would have ruined her Christmas because she would have been up all night editing and sick, and it just it didn't work out.
That was not what I wrote back first.
Yes, it is.
What I wrote back was, you'll be happier if you do it tomorrow. Eddie's family moved their time till 4, so yeah, we can do it. And then you said, great, it works better for you that way, turning it around in the way you always do. And then you said, what are you guys doing tonight? And I said, no, I'm not feeling very well. I had just gotten out of bed anyway, so I'll go back to bed. And you texted me like 10 minutes before you were supposed to be here, which is another thing I thought was funny. So the switch helps you, right? Lie to me so I can stop beating myself up. You're funny. Put it on me.
Well, let's deal with this then. You say I texted you 10 minutes before I was supposed to be here? You were at CPK.
Yeah,
even if I would have showed up, you never would have been here.
We were just finishing dinner and we literally walked 20 feet to CPK.
So I felt bad about making the switch. And I asked her, I said, please do me a favor, just make me feel better about this. I was getting to all of this, but you decided to fucking yank the fucking curtain. I did not lie.
That's not my first response to anyone.
Is this going to be our default position now, too, where we just fucking have this back and forth? You know what? The first 5 years, you let me do whatever fuck I wanted. And now, when I do shit, you're just like, no, that's not what happened. It's like, no, dude.
You're just making stuff up out of whole cloth, baby Jesus lover. I don't know.
Why am I a baby Jesus lover? I've got him locked in a box that I won't let him out of until later in the show.
Maybe you're not a lover. I don't know.
So then I then said to Lily, hey, am I a pussy if I change this like from today to tomorrow because I want to kind of prepare for this and be ready for it? And she's just like, no, you're not. What I think what she typed was not pussy, smart. That's like because but just I loved the phrase not pussy, smart. Because she just wanted me to leave her alone. And then I finally just went, I will put my crazy away and let you eat your dinner. That's what I said.
No, because seriously, if you wanted to watch it before you talked about
Well,
it,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense because I know everything that happened around it, but it is honestly a fucking blur. Like, I mean, because you're there, it's done in real time. That's the thing people don't understand. There was not a lot of TV shows. Well, it's not that people don't understand it. You may or you may not understand it. I don't mean to be all fucking hoity-toity and bullshit. Some TV shows take forever. Like we used to tape Starface, and Danny Bonaducci was the fucking host, and he would chili dip fucking copy and all sorts of nonsense. So he would fuck stuff up. That's funny. Sorry, Lily's giving me the numbers on her loose leaf of paper, and we're apparently at 11 minutes. I looked in my house right when I was walking out the door because you told me parking was so bad. I think she probably did. Yeah, she got them in the divorce, which I think is official. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. It was supposed to be. I reread my paperwork and it had a date on there, but I haven't received. I'm supposed to get like a scroll from the king or something, right? Telling me that we're finished. Isn't there a raven who's supposed to fly in my window with an ominous sign? I think that's supposed to happen. I don't know. Maybe Karen's wax seal is broken. I don't know. I have no idea. I should just get at least a rock with a piece of pink legal pad paper tied to it thrown through my window, shouldn't I? We're finished. Signed, Karen.
Where did she file? What city?
This is going to seem strange. Lisbon, Portugal.
I was going to look it up online right now to find out if your divorce is final.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. She filed in Los Angeles. I mean, Los Angeles Superior Court. That's who I keep getting stuff from. Van Nuys, I suppose. Well, folks, while the clock runs out and I find out if I'm a married man or not, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Wheel of Fortune, which I wound up getting destroyed in tonight, as you saw. So I was supposed to do the show yesterday, and I had to cancel and I switched it because I really thought that I wanted to see the show. Now the show itself, when we did Starface, it taped forever. It would take like 2 hours to tape and 2.5 hours to tape one episode. But the fucking Wheel of Fortune is a machine, man. They have been doing it for so long. Sajak is so good at what he does that everything is just, when they go to commercial, they literally go to commercial. It takes 5 minutes and they come back. I mean, it's that fast. Now you're nodding. You're doing a lot of nodding. What's happening?
I actually need your case number. I forgot. California makes you look it up by case number, not by name.
I have it right here.
No, you don't.
What if I did? I have it tattooed on my forearm. Hey, were you in Treblinka? Nah, divorced. This is my Treblinka tattoo on the other forearm, as a matter of fact. Wait, you were in Treblinka? You seem young. Well, no, I visited and got a tattoo. I went to the Treblinka fantasy camp. That was a crowded train ride. All right, so... yeah, I'm sorry. They sprayed me with Zyklon C. So, unfortunately, I didn't get the full experience. Now I got Jesus and the Allman Brothers, and I got a fucking Holocaust fantasy camp. This is a good show. This is a good Christmas show. All right. Zyklon C, so close. Fuck it, I love me. I don't care, god damn it. Fuck your neighbor. Wake up. You know what? He's actually pissed. Now when he hears this show, he's gonna be furious he wasn't awake to hear it live, because this is fucking great stuff. If he's right now, he's actually half asleep over there, and he just heard Zyklon C, and he sat up in bed and went, "That's fucking funny. I don't know who that is and what that's for, but Jesus Christ, Zyklon C is funny." And we didn't take a train ride. It was more of a trolley. They have a trolley to Treblinka. The Treblinka trolley. Oh my God, how great is that? Dude, hop on the Treblinka trolley and go get sprayed with Zyklon C and get a fucking forearm tattoo. And you can tell it's the fantasy camp because it's in Comic Sans. Dude, I'm making myself laugh. Fuck all you people. I don't know if you're still here. I have a Comic Sans fake tattoo from a Treblinka fantasy camp that I rode the Treblinka trolley to after I got sprayed with Zyklon C. Write it down. That's the id. I want to see Mex make that an id. Dude, I rode the Treblinka trolley to the Treblinka fantasy camp, and I got a fucking Wingdings tattoo on my arm. I want Wingdings! And Wingdings is better than fucking Comic Sans. No, I like Comic Sans better. Wingdings doesn't mean anything. Dude, what would the Wingdings be for the Treblinka fantasy camp? Just like 3 smiley faces and a swastika. That's perfect. All right. No, even better. You know what the Wingdings font is for the Treblinka fantasy camp? A swastika made of smiley faces. That takes the edge off it, right? The swastika is certainly a symbol of hate. We can all agree on that. But if you made it out of, like, fucking smiley faces, that would be awesome. That's not so bad.
Oh, Christ.
That's like when I had visions of getting a tattoo. One day I was like, I'll get a tattoo. Like, it was when everybody was getting them, and it seemed like a good idea.
Everyone's still getting tattoos.
Well, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that, quite frankly.
Ours
I don't know about that. I think, you know what? I think actually, I know one guy who's getting tattoos.
Really?
And I think they're going to shut them all down now after that tattoo. I was going to get to that later, but we're talking about it now. Why not? That's okay. No, it's fine. Well, it's funny. I will tell you this, because I may have said this on the air before. It was just fortuitous that Adam named the fan club the West Side 86 Jokers, because I love the Joker, and then it came from the show itself when I was talking about going to Dark Knight and there were the Joker gang. But, you know, the tattoo I was going to get was, you know how everybody has that, like, tribal band around their arm, like around their bicep? What I was going to get was Joker heads, like all the way around my arm, and with alternating, it was Joker head, ha, Joker head, ha, Joker head, ha, all the way around my bicep. So that was the plan. Now, that would be the second coolest tattoo ever made. The coolest tattoo ever made, let's talk about that for just a second here, folks. There's people out there with cool tattoos. I personally know some people who've had tattoos. I happen to know that my friend Lily has some amazing tattoos, including can I tell them what you have?
Sure.
Well, it's probably online, right? You're Marvin? She has a Marvin the Martian on her shoulder. And then do you have an ankle tattoo? Is that?
I do.
Yeah, you have an ankle tattoo as well.
Black Widow.
Black Widow on her ankle. And we have other friends of the show who also have tattoos that I know of.
Who are covered in tattoos.
Indeed. And I know some people personally who also have tattoos. So.
You know people personally?
Listen. Well, I've met them.
I thought everyone was online.
I've met them. I have actually physically met people on occasion. Met is a word that you can interpret it any way you would like. We're up to 17 minutes, folks.
I'm just going to start giving you random numbers.
I like those numbers.
Close to the rounded.
That's fine.
No.
So the I'm sorry, I'm rubbing my eye and it made a noise, and I wonder if it got picked up by the microphone. I actually thought about stopping for a second. Can you hear this? Those are my eyes. All right, so I think I've done that on here before, haven't I?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got juicy eyes. I get fucking juicy eyes. All right. I talked about this before. There was a guy once who wanted to name his company, and I gave him a bunch of names for his company, and one of them was Crispy Eye Media. I thought that was a pretty cool name, because I like the name Crispy. Don't steal it, anybody. And actually, I gave that guy Throat Punch Media, and he turned it down, and then I went, I fucking love this. Why am I giving it to him? And then there you go, incorporated for no good reason whatsoever. But yeah, Crispy Eye Entertainment. Because yeah, there was a band named Frozen Ghost. I've talked about this on here. This because you hear phrases and you're like, those are awesome. Frozen Ghost. What a fucking great name. There was a band named the Lime Spiders. What a fucking awesome name that is. The Lime Spiders. I don't like, honestly, I've never seen one of their fucking CDs out there, but if I did, I'd buy it just because they're called the Lime Spiders. I don't know what their music sounds like, but I wouldn't fucking care. The lime spiders, I love limes. I actually I like the idea of spiders. I don't think I like spiders themselves. Like if a spider was on me, wouldn't care for it. But if I see a spider from across the room, I'm like, that's pretty cool. He's got 8 legs. But like on me, that's 8 legs on me. I don't want 8 legs on me. I'll take 2 around me. I don't want 8 on me. All right. So, folks, people out there get tattoos. And they get inspired to get tattoos by all sorts of different things. I know one person who was inspired by Warner Brothers cartoons and went ahead and got a Marvin the Martian on their shoulder. I won't tell you who that person is, but they're very close to me. Fuck it. Our friend David Kemp, who is a West Side 86 joker from way back. And actually, he had a podcast. He may still be doing it. It was so funny. You know, David, he met me in Indianapolis, and we hung out, and then he actually came to Chicago to see the show. Great guy, and always really nice to me and Max, and he's a guy who, he actually scored a CD, or a DVD, and we talked about that on here, we plugged it. He's a musician, and he's always very complimentary to me and to David, and just to Max, he's really cool, and to Lily, he loves the show. What I didn't realize was that he was willing to ruin everything for his love for the show. Because I can only speculate as to this being something that nobody would approve of. That's just me, okay? Because again, Lily's tattoos are there, but it's not like you just go, "Whoa, check that out." You're just like, when you notice it, you're like, "Oh, you got a Black Widow on your ankle. That's pretty cool." Or, "Oh, hey, is that Marvin the Martian? That's pretty cool." Where's the kaboom? There's supposed to be a kaboom. All right, so it's not a bad Marvin the Martian, right? I mean, out of the blue for having not done it in years. Was that bad? I seem to have lost my P-33 space modulator. That's close.
Sure.
I can be Mel Blanc if I want. I'm closer than his kid. His kid is awful. Oh my God, what a mess. I think he's Mel Blanc Jr., which that's got to be a fucking serious thing to carry around. You're Mel Blanc Jr. That's awful. Like, what if George Clooney had a kid and it was George Clooney Jr.? That's fucking pathetic. You couldn't be George Clooney Jr. You can't be George Clooney Jr. and work at a bagel shop. You can't. You got to go ahead and try to do something else. I think. All right. So if you're Mel Blanc Jr., but that's the bad news, is everybody thinks that Mel Blanc Jr. can just take over the Warner Brothers guys. They're like, yeah, what the fuck? He's Mel Blanc's kid. Let him do it. Because he's grandfathered in. Like, he's a legacy. Dude, you're not Kent Dorfman. You don't get to be a legacy. You don't get to fucking just get right into the frat. Dorfman. Your Delta Chi name is Flounder. Flounder. That's the best part. When he looks back at him, he just goes like, because he can't. Flounder. All right. Our friend David Kemp. He's a fan of this show. A fan of me, a fan of Lily, a fan of David Hernandez. That would be the 3-headed monster that is the 40-year-old boy. And he is... Oh, why are you shaking your head at me?
I'm part of a 3-headed monster. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You're the fire-breathing one.
Awesome. Yeah,
I'm the one that just won't stop talking. If we were the knights that say knee, I'd be the annoying one. Well, I guess they were all kind of annoying, really. I would want the shrubbery. No, I wouldn't want a shrubbery. I would fight with you about a shrubbery. But you'd want one that looks nice. And then Max would he would want one that wasn't too expensive. It would just be a conversation. And then eventually Sir Robin would run away. He'd boldly run away. He's a chicken. All right. He ran and ran and ran away. I did not. Oh, goddamn Holy Grail. Let's just watch Holy Grail. Let's just put that in right now. Honestly, that would be better than this fucking show. If we just fucking threw Holy Grail in and held a microphone up to the telephone. To the telephone. Wait a second. To the television. You know, that's too many words with tele in it. We should say phone and vision. 22. Oh, we are 1-2 away from a Karen Valentine, ladies and gentlemen. 22. She dead? She's not dead.
No, she's hot though.
She used to be super hot. Oh my God. Dude, I totally love Karen Valentine. She was crazy pixie hot, and that hair was awesome. But then she had that bald dude. I had to look at that bald dude. He was the teacher, right, in room 222? He was the principal, because she was a teacher. Look it up, folks. All right, hold on. So, don't mock me with your mockery. I hear you're mocking. I'm avoiding talking about my crushing defeat. That's what I'm doing. Is I'm hopping to and fro. Finish what?
The Tat.
Who's Tad?
The Tat.
Tat. Oh, the one from Treblinka Fantasy Camp, the one I have right here with the Comic Sans. Our friend David Kemp is a friend of the show, and he enjoys the show, and he's come to see me live a few times. He's a nice man. He does all sorts of musician. And then he told me, he's like, hey, man, I might be starting a podcast. And I'm like, that's awesome. I don't know why you would, because you're certainly not in my league, but go ahead if you want to compete with me. I'm teasing. I'm joking. Lily made a face like I meant that. That was Lily totally made a face. And it's like, no, dude, whenever anybody tells me they're starting a podcast, I'm like, do it. Awesome. You should. Everybody in the world should start a podcast. It's great. And I don't mean that ironically. I mean, just do it. If you want to express yourself, and maybe you'll fucking touch a nerve, and that's great. And also, the thing is, David was like, his idea was to do a podcast about adoption. It wasn't just going to be, white dudes sitting around a table trying to be funny, or me yelling at a lady and trying to find out about her tattoos. It was like, he had actual depth and interest in his topic. And of course, I don't know the name of it, or I would plug it here, because he did say to me, he's like, hey man, why don't you give it a listen? And I was like, hey, that's a great idea. And I downloaded it, and I believe I still have it. So I don't know if he's still doing it. I don't know if David has had pod fade or what David has done. I do apologize. Hey, David, if you're out there, go ahead and put it up in Westside 86 Jokers and tell people to listen to it. If you're still doing it, that is. But when he's busy, not doing his podcast or not being on stage, being in his band or doing whatever he's doing with his life down there in Indiana, here's what David did. David shaved his calf, which I found a little weird, but all right. If you want to shave your calf, go ahead. And then you want to put a picture of your shaved calf online. I suppose that's the move. By the way, shaved calf is a pretty good name for a band too, David, if you want to consider that. Dude, I'm totally in shaved calf. No, because it has like 9 meanings. All right.
What?
It has like 9 meanings. It could be about a cow, or it could be about your leg.
How is that 9 meanings?
Think outside of your little box, Lily, please. Ascribe more than just the 2. Oh, wait, you went vagina on that? Your shaved calf. There's one of the meanings right there. We're talking about your shaved calf now. So, the bottom line is our friend David Kemp went ahead and posted a picture on the Joker's page, and it was on my Facebook timeline. And at first I didn't think it was real. Well, I should tell you this, too. I didn't see it. I didn't know it existed. I was at Travis Barbecue, and my phone buzzed, and I looked at it, and it was Mex. He texted me, and he said, dude, go to Facebook. It's good. And because usually when he's telling me to go to Facebook, it's not good. It's not good at all. Because as you know, America's Yearbook is wide open for everyone, and it turns into America's Open Mic Night, and we all have such fun together, don't we? But that's why I love the fact that he had to put "it's good," because I knew if I read "dude, go to Facebook," I'd be like, "Oh Christ, dude, go to Facebook, it's good." But I could not go for like an hour because I was busy doing things. And then finally, I grabbed my phone and I went and I looked, and like I said, at first I didn't think it was real. I thought it was Photoshop. But what tipped me off to this being an actual thing, was he had shaved his calf. David Kemp wound up getting a tattoo of Little Schmitty on his leg. And not like Lily has a tiny black widow on her ankle. Yeah. This takes up his entire calf. Like, I mean, it is a giant picture of Little Schmitty, the artwork as rendered by Mex. And it's an amazing job. I mean, the guy who did it was really true to the character, because, you can chili dip shit pretty easily. But I saw it, and like I said, when I first saw it, I thought, nah, it's not real. And then I looked and I saw that he had shaved his calf, and in my head I went, oh my God, that's real. That's real. And also, I should have been tipped by the fact that it was David Kemp, because there are guys out there who are fans of this show who would do that. Like, like Rich Galvin and people who are like really intense fans of the show and are really nice, like, Jeff Rich and people who I think are talking to me all the time and are really cool and big fans. I think they would do it. And David Kemp is clearly one of those guys. I think Leanna Dixon would do that, quite frankly. I think Valkyrie Harper might do that. I think Hannah Frostman might do something like that. Would you think they would do that? I think they would. Actually, by the way, those last 3 that I mentioned would never have to shave their calves. Supple and clean all the time. That's how it works. The ladies keep their... That's it's part of the prerequisite of being in the Westside 86 Jokers. There's a calf test. You have to show up, and I take a credit card, and I scrape it on your leg like a 70s fucking shaving commercial. Boom, you're in. Patty Hester, you're in. Mary Beth Kirk, you're in. Mary Hasty, you're in. Andrea Feeser, you're in. Amy Baker, you're in. Diane Rivers, you're in. Hadria Douglas, you're in. All right, Raquel Comer, you're in. Megan Sweet, you're in. All right, how many more of these am I going to pull out of my head? I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. Aya Cassander, you're in. Dorothy Stone Bosford, you're in. And you can bring your friend Michelle St. Louis Drolet. Bring her in. I think I said her name right. I hope I didn't mess it up. She's got like 9 names. Did I say Andrea Fieser? Because she has a middle name, Andrea Benfati Fieser. Benati Fieser? Benfati? This is the hazards of talking at the speed of your head. I have no fucking idea. Whatever comes to mind. Look, if I'm messing your name up, please know that I'm pulling these out of my fucking skull at a whim, on a whim. See, Joyce Godsey's not mad. She knows that she's in. Lauren Logsden's in. All right. That's it. I'm closing the doors now. Nobody else is in. I don't, because I can't. You know why? Because I'll sit here all fucking day and pull names out, and no one will be entertained except those people, and it turns into a romper room then. And as a matter of fact, I am holding up a magic mirror to my face as I do that, folks. All right, so you're all in. You know what? We're all in. But clearly David Kemp is in because he's got a clean calf. Other than the fact that it has the presence of evil now on it, the mark of the beast. That's what it has. It has a little Schmitty on there. And I then, when I saw it, I kind of was like, Jesus Christ. Because I didn't know what to say. Because what the fuck do you say? I don't know. And you're going to laugh, right? This is, I swear to God, I had this thought. Well, first, all right, well, let me get into this first. I saw it and I thought it was fucking amazing. So I texted Max. And I'm like, dude, you know, should I actually fucking find it? I should read it. Because I had to make sure that he was, because all right, here's the thing. Max created the character. I mean, the character is based on me and what I do, and we've made it part of the aesthetic of the show, but it's, you know, the copyright is owned by me and David. So I had to make sure that he was on board with this, but he was the one who initially wrote me. He was like, dude, it's cool. Go to Facebook. But I had to be sure that was okay. So I wrote him, let me see, where is it? Here, folks, hang out while I go through texts, idiot. So fucking stupid. Dude, get on Facebook now. It's good. And then I wrote him like an hour and a half later. Oh my God. You're cool with this, right? And he's like, how could you not be? Wish it was a chick who did it first, though. So I wrote him, I think it's awesome. I just want to make sure the artist's on board. You know, we both own the copyright. And the second a chick puts me on their bikini line, I think we'll both know we've arrived. So, I mean, look, I'm not disparaging David Kemp's calf. It's a clean calf. It's a nice calf. It looks good. And now I know if I were to put my face on it, it would not irritate me with any scratchy hairs because it is smooth and clean. If I were to plant a smooch on my own likeness on David Kemp's calf, I would do it without any sort of irritation. For me, he'd be quite irritated probably. I would imagine David would not be happy with that. However, I could just dive in and know that I would have no fear at all of having some sort of weird razor burn or a hair attack. Because you got to shave your calf to get a little Schmitty on there. Or maybe Dave's just a freak who likes to shave his calf, says the guy who gets waxed. All right, so he's not a freak. But it's fucking awesome. I mean, and it's so funny. I recognized it immediately when I saw the picture. Like I knew, I just knew. I even knew what it was from. When it was just, So I mean, I can't thank David enough. But here's the thought I had, I swear to God. Because you guys are fucking great. And you're always there. And you're always there with cool things to say, and you support me no matter what the fuck happens. Even today when I lost, looked like a fucking asshole. I'm getting people writing me, and they're like, you were great. I'm like, no, I wasn't. I fucking lost. And you say so wrong, but that's fine. I recognize I didn't. We got to get into all of that. That's fine. But you guys are so fucking cool, and I'm not. This is again. This will sound terrible, and I'm gonna. It's behind the curtain and whatever the fuck. I would like this to be something more. Like, I love being a podcast and stuff, but we've had ideas for shows or whatever the fuck. So part of me was like, I'm gonna save this picture of David because this will be part of my bulldozer presentation if I ever get into a fucking pitch meeting, because it shows the level of support that I inspire in people. You know what I mean? And in my head, I'm like, dude, because I mean, like for a month, everybody's been buzzing about Wheel of Fortune, like that I'm going to be on it and stuff. And granted, it's my own little fucking hive mind that is onto it, but that's the point, is I already have a built-in crew of people who care about what the fuck I do and what happens. So if all I need to do is tap into the rest of the people who have no fucking idea who I am and hate me. So as soon as I get them on board, that'll be fine. And that's easy to do, right? To convince the people who hate you to come on board and like the thing that you do, right? I think that's exactly the most. That's probably the easiest thing.
They don't know you.
That's why they hate me. If they knew me, they would care enough to like me. But now they hate me.
How can you hate something you don't know about?
I hate everything I don't know about.
So weird.
If I don't know it, I hate it. Fuck that. You got to, you know what? I hate everything until proven otherwise. That's the way it is. That's the way to live your life. Don't be open-minded. Don't like things and don't be friendly and smiling. Hate everything and then wait for it to prove itself worthy. That's how I operate. That's not really how I operate. I don't operate at all. You know what? That's a phrase I can actually say I'm not comfortable saying. That's how I operate. I don't know how I operate. I fly in the face of convention. No, I don't. I don't do any of those things. You know what I do? I stumble fuck through life and hope good things happen. Eventually they will, right? I've been told that they will, right? But they are. Things are happening. Things are great. Guys are getting me tattooed on them. I mean, that's fucking awesome. Guy's got a fucking calf tattoo of me. Well, not me, but I mean my likeness, my little guy. Little Schmitty. He's my little guy. Stupid. All right. But let's talk about that. You guys are great, and everybody's really cool and very supportive and stuff. And our friend David Kemp went the extra mile, went under a razor for me, and then wound up getting a tattoo on his calf, which you can see on the Westside 86 Jokers page. And also, by the way, you can unpin if we're sitting here. If you want to do that, you can unpin the Wheel of Fortune thing and put your burlesque thing back at the top.
My burlesque thing's over now.
Oh, it ended?
Yeah, it ended today.
Oh, okay. So do we know what's going to happen?
It's awesome.
Well, I only unpinned it yesterday, so it was up. It was ready there for me to be voted. I hope people voted for you.
And thank you to anyone and everyone who voted. That's very nice of you.
Thank you. We want to make Lily one of the top 50 burlesque people in the world. Well, let's put it this way. She already is. But we'd like to get her on the list of people that say that she's in the top 50 people of burlesque in the world. Ugh, I almost yawned there. Because it's late, folks. It's a late night record. I don't know. What are we? We're 37 minutes into the show now, I think. It's
35.
35.
10:22.
Holy shit, 35. I thought we were 37. This show is dragging.
Feels like 37.
It does. It kind of does. Feels like number 31 because this show's been an explosion of fun. All right, so I had somebody just reference number 31 to me. They were going to get me a Bears jersey, and they sent me a picture of it and said Schmidt 31. and I didn't get it, and I was like, I said I don't get the number, and they were like, well,
really?
Yeah, I didn't. I just didn't. I didn't make the connection at first. I said I'm pretty slow, and then they just wrote number 31, and I went, oh, I know what that means. Thank you. Yeah, that made me laugh. So I'll look forward to that arriving in the mail. I'm sure it will. Actually, I told him, I said, if you buy that jersey for me, I will shake you. Because it's just crazy to buy a jersey. All right, so I just wanted to say that I would shake somebody. All night. Shake them. Shake it, don't break it, baby. Shake them. All night long. Lily, if you can name who that is, you will have all the money in my wallet.
There's no money in your wallet.
What?
I can't.
I met this girl around 10 to 10.
I can't.
We made it once. She said, make me again. She wrapped her love around me all night long. And in the morning, we were still going strong.
All I can think is AC/DC shook me all night long.
You know what's funny? It's very close to a knockoff because Tom Kiefer from Cinderella sounds a lot like Brian Johnson to a certain extent on that opening album, that first album, which was called what, Lily? All the Money in My Wallet. What was Cinderella's debut album?
Not called All the Money in My Wallet.
No, it was not. That was actually Warren's debut album. And then the next album was Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. Let's just go through all of the metal 80s bands right now and their fucking albums. I used to have a theory that the third album was a make or break album for a band. And now bands don't even get to make a second album if their first album tanks. Because like Bon Jovi, their first album was, a good album. And then they made 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit, which is also a good album. Got them a little bit of notice, but then they made fucking New Jersey and went through the goddamn roof.
Who?
Bon Jovi?
Who?
Really?
Never heard of him.
Guy who looks like a poodle but sings?
Oh, John Bon Jovi.
There you go.
Idiot.
He's Richie Sambora's friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Bon Jovi,
Yeah, the guy who fired Tico Torres.
Yeah, John Bon Jovi.
Oh, no, he didn't fire Tico Torres. Did he fire? Yeah, he fired Tico Torres. Yeah, but
John Bon Jovi.
yeah, he's the guy who's friends with Alex John Such.
Of course, John Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Yeah, we're dumb. We are stupid. And you know what? The best part? This is being recorded for posterity. Like people are listening to this right now. I mean, I'm sure they've already turned it off by now. But this is why people get tattoos of us, because of these sorts of conversations.
You.
I'm sure there's somebody out there with a lily on them. Anybody out there want some lily on them?
Not right now. Maybe later when you're hearing this.
Somebody out there will get some lily on them. That's fine. But this is the kind of thing that inspires the fans when you and I discuss Warrant. when I do a speaking recitation of fucking Cinderella lyrics from fucking 1984. 85? Cinderella? Tom Kiefer?
No.
Night songs?
No.
Really?
Cinderella, huh?
You know, it doesn't surprise me that you forget Cinderella, but because you don't know what you got till it's gone.
That's very true. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not bad.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's a Cinderella Christmas. It's a Night Songs Christmas. Everybody needs a little shelter, Lily. All right, so you write that as the name for the show. It's a Cinderella Christmas. Oh no. Well, now we have to devote a lot more Cinderella talk then, just to justify the title.
No, you don't. I like vague and obscure.
As do I. Well, you actually could have made it Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich, really, when you think about it.
Too long. Way too long.
I'm willing to bet you Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich has the same amount of letters as It's a Cinderella Christmas.
Nope.
All right. Nope. All the money in my wallet. Why do I want to give all the money in my wallet away? It's weird. I do have actually money for you in my wallet. Remind me when we leave. Write it down. I have money for you.
For what?
For parking.
Oh, for the parking. Okay.
Because I have to pay to park in Lily's neighborhood, folks. That's the way it works. It's the oldest neighborhood in Hollywood.
Lily's neighborhood.
Yeah, we all do. We all get to pay to park in her tiny box. So, did I call it a small box? What did I say? A small box? I don't know what it was. Who cares? It's an hour ago. Not really an hour. More like 41 minutes.
No, not even.
What?
39:49, but it feels.
It felt like 41. Holy God. That's Pardo's bit. We could be doing Pardo's bit.
I didn't know that's.
You don't, but I do. It's like, as I think about it, well, it's not the same bit. Like, he'll say to a guy, how old are you? 35? And I'll go, I'm 36. He goes, Jesus, you look terrible. Or no, if the guy's younger, he looks great. And if he's older, he looks shitty.
What does that have to do with time feeling like it's long?
Because I just said it, because it's the same number concept. Numbers don't change, Lily. It's the same joke, it's just in a different context. Because I just said, if it's 39 minutes, it feels like 41.
And feeling longer. I don't see how.
Are you trying to say looking good, Billy Ray? Feeling good, Lewis?
No.
I think you are.
No, I'm not.
Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis.
No, I'm not.
He was wearing my Harvard tie. Like, oh, sure, he went to Harvard. Why is that never mentioned in the greatest Christmas movies of all time? I always hear Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, and then everybody talks about like White Christmas and all that bullshit. Trading Places is a Christmas movie. I mean, Aykroyd's got to buy the gun dressed in the Santa outfit, and then he goes to try to rob Billy Ray Valentine. All right. It was the Dukes. It was the Dukes. I think I know every word of Trading Places. I bet I do.
Start at the beginning.
Zayther Kai, Zayther Kai. That's the Whip and Poof guys singing. All right, no. I mean, if I watched it, I would be able to kind of Rocky Horror it.
I'll bring it up.
What if well, actually, you know what? That's really not that far-fetched of a request, because I just did a fucking Cinderella song. So, I mean,
Gonna say anything?
just changed the name of the show to 1984. Honestly, it's just because it's Cinderella songs and fucking Trading Places. Let's do it. Oh my God, Coming to America. I definitely know all the words to that. How great was Eddie Murphy? Eddie Murphy was the genius. I think he's still a genius. I was watching Beverly Hills Cop at my house today. It was on VH1, and even cut, I had to watch it because it was the scene where he followed fucking Victor Maitland into the buffet, and he wrecked the buffet. Is this the man who wrecked the buffet at the Harold's Club this morning? God damn it, awesome. All right, so hi. So David Kemp has a tattoo of me, and I think I've justified in this show exactly why you'd want to get permanent ink of me on your body. Because I have a solid working knowledge of LA guns.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Don't make me bring Halloween out on you.
Oh shit.
And now Scott Phillips is like at attention. Scott Phillips in Kansas City. He's like, remember he fucking loves horrible metal, like obscure, terrible metal. And he's always like, hey dude, I've got this. I think, wasn't the band named Czar? Didn't he have a band like TSAR?
Something like that, yeah.
Dude, you got to hear this band named Czar. And I'm like, nah, look, I'm already in your shitbox car. Don't play your shitbox music for me.
It was good.
But anyway, he brought me to, no, the music wasn't, but he brought me to Oklahoma Joe's, which was great. I want to get back to Kansas City. I want to get back to all sorts of cities.
Are you going to Kansas City?
Kansas City, here I come. God damn it. It's perfect when it's lobbed in underhand. You just crush it over the fence.
We're total idiots.
We are. But it's great. And you're not even on a microphone. Imagine if you had a microphone. This whole thing would change.
Awful.
Maybe for year 7, we got to get you a microphone.
Okay.
That changes everything.
We'll get right on that.
If we get you a microphone, we make this show about adoption. Because right now, there's only one guy out there, and we're taking him down. That sounds like a topic ripe for discussion. You and I need to get on board with that.
I don't think so.
It'll be like, because we'll get, you know what? You and I will adopt Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick.
Yeah, no.
And then we will raise them, and we will do a fucking podcast where we're like, talk about them. Oh my God, that's perfect.
Only if we have during the podcast.
What do you mean?
I don't want children.
Well, you take one and I'll take one.
I don't want
Oh my God!
children.
How fucking great is that experiment?
I don't
Let's
want
adopt.
children.
Let's adopt Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick. I get one of them. You get one of them, and we go ahead and we figure out how that's going to work out.
I don't want children.
You know, I was actually. This is funny. A friend of the show, Jill Bublitz Charbonneau. When I went to the Packer game with her, we were talking about Bears fans and Packer fans, and I said to her, I go, you know what, because I was talking about Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick, and I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to adopt them, and you get one and I'll get one, and you raise one as a Packer fan, I raise one as a Bear fan, and we'll see if they still like want to be friendly brothers. And then she was like, I'm going to go talk to my friends because you are crazy, and I want nothing to do with you at this point.
I can't imagine someone thinks you're crazy.
I don't get it. I don't understand it either. No, actually, that's a lie. She thought it was a funny idea, and she was on board with it, and we're waiting for our visa to clear. All right, so.
Waiting for the home visit.
We're going to China. We're going to China, everyone. I'm taking this show on the road.
There's a Kickstarter.
Let's do it.
Raise money for Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick.
I must adopt Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick. And actually, I need to take a trip to China just to see them. And I also want to have authentic Mushu. I have to have authentic Mushu and meet my sons.
I'm confused though. I didn't know they were both boys.
Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick?
Yeah.
I'll take whatever they got. They don't have to be boys, girls, whatever the fuck. I just assumed they'd be boys because the name's Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick. A girl named Bomb Pop, that's rough. Because that's got a lot of deep throat connotations to it. And that's not going to be good for her growing up.
She's gonna end up on a pole.
Yeah, clearly. Or on a stick.
Real?
Yeah, that's right. We are idiots. It's great. I like being an idiot. I don't mind that. You talking about being an idiot's a bad thing. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, you just live in your little box and don't look around. You sing in the hallway and you wake people up and don't care if they have to fucking work. It's great. See? Idiot's just like, you know what an idiot is? It's the poor version of a sociopath. If I was rich, I'd be a sociopath. But poor, I'm just a fucking idiot. Because I can't buy myself out of trouble. I just do dumb stuff. I'm fucking 9. All right. So David Kemp has a tattoo of me. Which we talked about. And then tonight, all right, look, let's just talk about it. Let's get down to the meat of it. Let's get to the meat of the matter. Meat is murder. Let's get to the meat is murder, says Morrissey. Morrissey says meat is murder. However, Matt McGloin, quarterback of the Raiders, loves meat. Matt McGloin loves meat, but Morrissey says meat is murder. I think meat is meh. Meh. All right, so, it's a lot of M's. Father Eric. That's what Jill said when she was watching the soap opera, Days of Our Lives, which I don't tape and watch every day. All right, so anyway, actually I do. I tape, and I will tell you, I can't believe that Victor is trying to get back with Jenny. All right, so he's not really getting back with her; he's just being nice to her because who cares? All right, so
Victor, the old like Latin guy.
that's from a different show. There's another Victor in another show.
My ex used to always go Victor. Victor would say to her, "Oh shit, what was her name? You've cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars." Nikki, you've cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't, whatever.
That sounds like Nikki. When I was a kid, I started watching Young and the Restless during a summer. I was home, and I was, but here's why, because then we went drinking over at Pam Custer's house one day, and they were talking about it. I forget who was talking about the Schnackis, might have been, or somebody. Here's more last names, and I jumped in, and I was like, yeah, I go, that's incredible, and they were just like, you don't watch that? I go, yeah, I do. They're like, what do you mean? You don't watch it? And I was like, and at the time there was a storyline where some Victor was locked in somebody's basement and she only fed him strawberries. And so I was like, yeah, well, Victor with the strawberries, that's ridiculous. He's locked in a basement. And like, I thought they were going to jump out a window because they were like so happy that a man knew what they were talking about. But they also thought I was a fucking loser for like, no, not loser, but like a freak. They were just, all of a sudden it just changed everything where they were like, what? Like, how did you know that? But because I watched it because I'm dumb. All right. So, folks, I was on Wheel of Fortune tonight. Yet last night, because you're hearing this on Thursday. Where are we at? 47? All right. So you may have seen the show. Now I will tell you this. Spoiler alert. I'm going to talk about the show and the stuff that happened. Although I think in the previous 47 minutes, I may have discussed that I lost. I may have said that. So that's already a spoiler alert. But we're going to get into, like I said, the meat of the matter here. I auditioned for the Wheel of Fortune 8 months ago, something like that. And I've talked about that on here, and it went well. I was Captain RSTLNE, and then I didn't get called, and then they found a slip of paper, and then they called me, and then I was actually called in for a taping a few months ago, and all of you were fooled. You thought I participated in the show. Well, I went and I was an alternate that day, and I watched 6 different episodes, and I tell you this, it was great to be an alternate because you get to be on the set and see what happens and kind of get a feel for everything, and that's perfect because you don't have the pressure of having to play on the show, and you just get to watch everything unfold. And you also make the acquaintance of all the people who work there. So this time I got called back to actually play in the game. And I didn't get called. I think I've detailed this. When I was in Green Bay working, doing the show there, I got to the airport to leave, and I got an email from them telling me that they wanted me to be in it. To be a contestant on November 21st, and I fucking called it the second I read it. And it just so happened it had only come in like 30 seconds before, so I was the first guy to call and confirm. They're like, well, you sure you can? Yes, I'm in, done. And they were super friendly and really nice, and I was also really nice to them, and I was funny, and that they liked that. So I knew I was going to be taping it on November 21st. And you get, this is interesting, I knew when it was going to be, and they send me a FedEx package to tell me when I'm supposed to be there, and I had to be there at like 7:15 in the morning, and then you're there all day. You're there until you play. When you're done playing, you can bail. But I didn't care. I want to be, I never understood that when they're just like, well, don't worry, when you're done, you can leave. Well, I'm on the set of a television show. I mean, I don't mind hanging out. What the fuck? They always go, oh, it's going to be a long day. No, it isn't a long day. I'm waiting to go on television. I don't understand that weird, like, warning they give to everybody. But you know why? Because they're used to it. They work there. So for them, it is a long day. They're actually working. They're doing things. Contestants are sitting there eating fucking free sandwiches and waiting to go on fucking Wheel of Fortune. So I don't know what the fuck they're upset about. But then when we were there were people who were just like, oh, I picked 6, so I have to play in the 6th game, which means I'm here all day. Oh, what a fucking inconvenience for you. You came to town to be on the Wheel of Fortune. What the fuck do you care if you're in the 6th show? I would have loved to be in the 6th show. Well, we'll get to that. Let's put it this way. I didn't give a fuck where I was. I didn't want to go first, but because I wanted to be able to watch some. But anyway, I get there at 7:15, and and I'll tell you this: you can have someone come to the show. They're like, well, you can bring guests, but the thing is, the guests can't get there until like 11:30. I have to be there at 7:15, but my guests have to be there at 11:30, and also the guests may be there all day waiting, and you can't talk to the guests, you can't look at the guests, you can't tell them, oh, well, I'm on third. You can't tell them anything. So they said I could have 3 guests. So I was going to have my friends Lily and Eddie come to the show. And then I wanted Mex to come out too, but Mex could not make it out. But that would have been fun, the 3-headed monster, the 40-year-old boy, and a clown. That would have been perfect. So I asked Lily, and she said, yeah. She goes, I think I can do it. She goes, but the burlesque festival and stuff like that is kind of in the way, but I think I can definitely come. I said, great. So I was here to record the show the day before I went and taped, and you guys heard that show. And when I got here, Lily informed me that she probably was not going to be able to go. And I will not lie, fucking crushed. All right? I was really, really upset. And again, for no reason. I mean, it's just silly, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to do it anyway, and it doesn't matter. But when I told you that Mex couldn't come, I did have a slot for a 3rd guest who could come. So it just so happened that friend of the show, Jill Bublitz Charbonneau, was in Los Angeles. And when I say friend of the show, friend of mine. I don't want to just say that like she's this mere acquaintance of the show, but she was here representing all of you. And that was really cool. Yeah, she was here for every listener. That's who she. So that was even as much as I wanted Mex here and Lily and all. It was to have listeners represented was the fucking best. It was the best. So Jill was going to come out and go with, and she and Lily and Eddie were going to go together. And actually, we had dinner. Jill joined Lily and Eddie and I for dinner the night before. And Tuesday, right? Because then I had to record on Wednesday, and that's because you were still going to go on Tuesday, and we were trying to figure it all out, but you weren't sure because then I had to make a bunch of phone calls because Jill didn't know her way around California, and Lily was going to have to pick her up and take her to the show. And And then when it looked like Lily couldn't go, I was trying to figure out a way to get Jill to the studio because, again, she's not from here. And she's from Wisconsin where they have horse and carriages. They don't have these electronic vehicles that we have out here. They don't have all sorts of. I don't think the internal combustion engine is in Wisconsin yet, is it? I don't think it is. No. She gets everywhere by buggy and dog sled. So I just didn't know how she was going to get to the studio. So I won't lie to you. I was really crushed and upset and disappointed that because Eddie got a gig. Eddie had a gig, and then Lily was sick, as you guys have known for because of the burlesque festival. She taxed herself pretty thin, and then and she was spread really thin, and she got ill, and then she was working on the festival. It just she couldn't be there, and I was really disappointed. But at least Jill was coming. But now I had to get Jill to the studio. So I was on the phone. I actually called Goebel because Goebel was a possibility, and actually I invited some other listeners too, Jason and Toby, to come out. But it turned out their calves were too hairy, so I got not allowed them to attend. So, but they had to turn it down, and it was so funny when I actually texted Jason, and I'm like, hey, what are you guys around tomorrow? Because Jason and Toby and I have hung out a few times. He's like, I'm working, and I'm like, okay. I go, I don't know if you're going to be up here. Wondered if you guys were interested in doing something. And he wrote me back, is this possibly Wheel of Fortune related? And I just wrote, maybe. And he's like, God damn it, I wish I could be there. And I just like, well, that's fine. So we were trying to figure out a way to get Jill to the studio. And then the way it finally finished was Lily offered to step up and drive Jill to the studio, which was great, except for it also made me mad. Then I was like, well, why don't you just stay at the studio if you can come there?
Couldn't stay there until 7 o'clock at night.
Yes, I know, but I'm 9. I'm 9 years old, and so I want my Lily there. I was like, she has to be there, but she wasn't. So, as long as I knew Jill was safe and was getting here, then that was fine with me. I was still disappointed that Lily couldn't come, and I understood it, but you know me, I want what I want. I want everything. I want it all, and I want it now. That's what Queen would say. So, yeah, that's good. Well, I'm glad. I could tell by your body language. So, with our friend Jill Bublet's Charbonneau squared away, I could concentrate on the Wheel of Fortune itself. So I had to get up in the morning, and I had to wear grown-up clothes, which was interesting and weird. I had to go because I bought. I'll tell you this: when I was an alternate, they were like, "Dude, no jeans, no sneakers." Even though if you watch the show, you can't see anything below the fucking waist unless you win. But I assumed I was going to win, so I'm like, fuck it. I have to wear what they want me to wear. I can't just show up in jeans and be a dick. And I wouldn't have done that anyway. I'm kidding. So I had to actually go buy pants. So in, was it October or when was I at alternate? August or something? I actually went and bought pants. And I bought black, like Dockers or whatever. And then I have grown-up socks and I have grown-up shoes. Because I've been to weddings and things, so I actually have a really nice pair of shoes that I would wear with my suit, but they really cut into my heels, like they give me blisters. So I was like, nah, I can't be, because again, folks, it's a long day on the set. But I had some Skechers that were like black dress shoes, and I was like, all right, I can wear those and the black shoes. So when I was an alternate, I bought those pants, and I wore my grown-up socks, and I went, and this time around, I went to get dressed, and the black pants were too big because I had purchased them, 3 months prior to losing 65 fucking pounds. So I had to get a belt, and that was when I learned that my belt notch had to go like all the way because I had to switch belts and I had to get a different thing. And so, but that was fine. So luckily I tried them on the night before. I wasn't like the morning of, I would have been like unprepared. So I tried on my clothes and everything was fine. And then I went at 7:15 in the morning. I got to the set and I walked in, and the contestant coordinators they're amazing. I will tell you this about the Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, I've been to different shows, and they're all like kind of in different situations. They're in flux. Not them, man. They are a fucking military operation. If they put the people from Wheel of Fortune in charge of Afghanistan, it would be cleaned up in 9 days. 9 fucking days. And you know what? 6 different half-hour segments, 9 days in a row, and it would be over. Because that's how they run it. They do 6 different half-hour shows. So I showed up. The contestant coordinators met us, and I had to bring clothes. Shirts, because they get to choose from shirts, and I talked about this on here. I didn't like the shirt they chose, but I had to bring it because they needed long sleeves, and I brought 2 short sleeves and 2 long sleeves, hoping I could somehow wear short sleeves. But they chose the shirt that I wore last night, which is a black one with blue braiding, and I liked that shirt when it fit. but it doesn't fit me anymore. That's the whole thing. It looks like I'm encased in a square because it just falls. You know what I mean? Because I used to have to cover up a bunch of stuff, and now I don't have that much stuff to cover up, and that's a lot of talk about a fucking shirt that you don't care about. Whatever. So I get to the set, I get downstairs, and this is when you first get your eye at the people who are going to be there and playing against you. And you say hi to them, and you're very nice, and we get led into the green room, and we're sitting there, and there's tons of paperwork to fill out. They want to know your hobbies. They want to know all about you, what you've done, where you've been, different game shows. They want to know what your presence is online. I mean, they want to know everything about you. So I'm filling it all out, and I have to disclose you guys to them. You know, I have to tell them that I do like an internet thing, and I have to tell them that I've been on television. And I will tell you this: I'm in a room with a bunch of people from Wisconsin and Utah, and you know they're real people who've auditioned, and I'm me, and I'm not a real fucking person. You know that. So they bring a woman in from Standards and Practices, and she starts to run through the page and the other page and the other 15 pages, and she'll come to a thing, and she's like, "All right, has anybody here ever been on television?" And me and one other person raise our hand, and she's like, "What were you on?" And this one woman was like, "I was on The Price is Right in 1911, whatever the fuck, I don't know." Which was, and by the way, it was a lot easier to win The Price is Right in 1911 because you just went up there and everything you bid on was 5 cents. Done, perfect. 1911 was actually the second easiest year to win on The Price is Right compared to 1929. 1929 was an amazing year to win on The Price is Right. They almost went bankrupt, quite frankly. But of course, you're only bidding on pencils and apples the entire time, so why wouldn't you win? It's a mountain of apples and a pile of pencils. That mountain climber never got to the top of the mountain. Yodi, yodi, yodi. It just stops. Those pencils are 5 cents. Done. You win. There was only 2 slots in Plinko. They did not play the putting game because golf was not invented yet. Price is Right was terrible television back in 1929, particularly because television had not been invented yet. Price is Right on the radio was not exciting at all. They didn't even do that money wheel because they hadn't invented the boop noise, so they couldn't have it on. Price is Right. Why would you put it on the air? Well, actually, not 1911. It had started in, as we've talked about, 1894, which was Bob Barker's first year at the helm. All right, so that was some quick math. I'm distracted. Your house smells good now. Someone's making chicken soup somewhere. Can you smell it? What do you mean no? Why are you shaking your head? Oh my God.
Smell it.
Lily's just like, get out of my house.
I am not. This is a lovely Christmas day.
You want me to go follow the North Star back to my home?
No.
Yes, you do.
I think it would take you to your house.
What? Are you saying that I would not be bearing the gift of the Magi? I would bring Eddie. We would bear the gift of the magic. Because he's a magic guy.
Well, that's what Magi are.
Magi are what?
Magicians.
Multiple magicians?
Magi is magician.
It's the plural for magicians? So like a murder of crows, there's a Magi of magicians?
No, it's Magi is magic.
So the gift of the Magi? So wait a minute. Are you saying they saw Jesus in half? What are you talking about here?
Yes, they saw Jesus in half. Jesus Christ.
I thought they crucified him. All right.
How do you think he didn't die? It was all magic.
It was all magic. Jesus is magic. That's what Sarah Silverman taught us. Speaking of Sarah Silverman, let's talk about Rye Silverman. And if we're talking about Jesus, oh my God, that tied in perfectly. Rye Silverman is a comedian, and on Facebook, he turned 32. And I wrote on his page, I said, hey, you're only 1 year away from your crucifixion, so live it up. All right, so.
Oh my Christ.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so.
Laugh at that, I hope.
Of course he did, right? He's a comic. He's funny. He's a good guy. Rye Silverman is a trans comedian. A trans person. Well, he's not a trans comedian. It's not like he's doing it for comedy. That's not his persona on stage. That's his persona in life. But he's so brave.
He transitioned from bus driver.
He was a trans improv performer. And he didn't like sharing the stage, so he became a trans stand-up comedian. But he's a brave person because he now takes the stage as himself. And I think that transition has come slowly over the past year, but good for him. But I like Rye. He's a good guy. He's booked me on shows before. But he's funny. I don't know why he popped in my head because we went, you know what? Look, that's how the bees work, folks. We went from Jesus to magic to Jesus is magic to Sarah Silverman to Rye Silverman to the Christ crucifixion joke to trans comedians. Look at that. That's how it works. Connect the fucking dots, people. All right. 1578. That's how it works. That might be somebody's phone code. All right, so because I memorize everybody's phone code, by the way. I think I've told you that. Whenever I see them do it, and then I'll say it back to them, they go, why are you doing that? That's the best part is they're not like because I think it's like a fun trick, like a little magic trick, and I can memorize anybody's fucking phone code when they do it in front of me. But then when I say it to them, they're just like, what? They're not like, wow, that's a neat trick. They're like, why the fuck would you do that? What do you care about my phone code? And then more often than not, it leads to fisticuffs. Tommy Two-Tone was furious when I memorized his phone code. Because he had one of those older phones where you had to have it was a much more complicated number. But I don't want to give it out because, I mean, Tommy's a friend. So I'm going to keep his phone code to myself. He wouldn't mind if I gave the first 3 numbers, would he? Well, it's a long code, but if I give you 867, then you can fill out the rest. If you see Tommy, get his phone and try to do it. I got his number off the wall. I got it. All right, so Wheel of Fortune. I'm there not working. But we're filling out the forms, and it says, have you ever been on television? And that woman was on The Price is Right again a billion fucking years ago. Or no, I apologize. For joke purposes, she was on The Price is Right in 1911. Fine, but this is what really, because now I just remember really what she said. She raised her hand. She goes, I was on a show called Putting on the Hits in the 1980s. Do you remember that show? And I couldn't hear her because the snoring was deafening from everybody in the fucking room who doesn't know what you're talking about. But that was her fucking one shot at fame, and she thought she was going to bring it up to everybody. And my favorite part is that she thought that was going to be a thing at Wheel of Fortune. Like, is it okay if I was on Putting on the Hits back then? Yes, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Nobody cares that you lip-synced a Laura Branigan song when you were fucking 21. Nobody cares. Gloria. You know, I think I got her number. I think I got her alias that she's been living under. If you don't love me, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. I make the mundane interesting, folks. Follow your nose. You know what? My brain is like the Toucan Sam of brains. I just follow it wherever it goes. It always knows the flavor of fruit or the lyrics of an 80s song. All right. I have the Toucan Sam of brains. I like that. That's not bad. Well, I mean, I like bees better. Unleashing the Bees is a better imagery than Toucan Sam because he's too big to live in my head. I like having a bunch of bees at my command. I don't have just one giant fucking fruity-nosed bird. Although he provided me one of my jokes when I was getting, I talked about that, the Fruit Loops ghost detector. I've talked about that on here many times. I just recently gave that joke to Rye Silverman, trans comedian, for him to use if he'd like. Not that he needs the help. He's a talented writer. But I like to help the young up-and-coming guys. That's what I do. I hang out at the open mics because I'm so famous. And I just give out jokes. I actually had a friend of mine just write me and asked if he could use a joke of mine. He was a very nice person. He was like, because you remember my act from a million years ago. And he's like, do you still do that joke? Because if you don't, I'd like to use it. I said, go ahead. Like, seriously.
What joke?
Well, no, it's his now.
You still wrote it. You can say.
Doesn't matter. No, I can't. Because now because then if they see it, what if, although I guess if he gets famous and he does that joke, I'll hate him. So why not? I'll just say, I wrote that.
As they does that joke, somebody will go, Mike Schmidt did that joke 20 years ago.
Oh my God, anybody remembers that needs to jump off a cliff. Anybody remembers my act from 20 years ago? That's not me or this guy? I'm fucking terrible. Here was the joke. I love the fact that it took 9 seconds for me to get past it. I can't say that. It's this guy's now. Here's the joke. Anyway, because I demand credit for it. It was nothing. When I used to work in Vegas, I would have a Vegas chunk. And I would talk about, you talk about the casinos and all that bullshit. And I would always work the Riviera, and it was directly across the street from Circus Circus. And I would do this joke. I would say, is it any coincidence that the casino that features live circus acts also has the lowest price buffet on the strip? I never ate there. I didn't want to risk salmonella because Gus the Wonder Horse couldn't make it through the hoop on time that afternoon. Well, it was a decent joke, certainly. And in Vegas, of course, it kept people entertained for 5 seconds. It kept their nickels in their pockets, folks. So, now it's funny. Now I want to do my whole Vegas chunk. Like, because I'll never play there again, so I want to do those jokes. Because they're not going to come to me, and I'm not going to go to them. It's a Mexican standoff with Vegas right now. We're just staring at each other across the border.
You're looking at all.
Well, yes, that was the joke. I think maybe they don't know who the fuck I am. That was the whole point.
I give up. Sorry.
Don't give up. It's funny. But that's exactly the point I was making. Is they got the fact that I would say there was a Mexican standoff with one person who's a completely disinterested party. That's right. That's right out of my Vegas chunk. You know what? In 20 years, you're gonna want to use that joke.
I might.
All right. Well, call me. I'll be here. I'll be here 20 years from this date on a Wednesday.
I want to use it in 2014.
Well, feel free. But then someone will take it and use it from you, and then there'll be a big fight. There'll be burlesque nanigans.
So anyway.
Oh, you don't want to talk about burlesque nanigans? I like talking about that.
I want to talk about Wheel of Fortune.
Hey, I did that show.
I haven't heard about it yet. I'm excited.
Well, we're getting to that. So, they started listing. Oh, so she was on putting on the hits, fucking lip syncing, whatever. And then they're like, then they go, "What about you?" I said, "Well, do you want just game shows or do you want other shows?" Because I got to disclose everything. That's the whole point. Is I can't just. I was writing shit down, and that was the best part. Is like everybody else is just kind of like handing their paperwork. I'm still writing because I have to disclose everything. I have to go, hey, and I actually wrote. I have an internet radio program called a podcast that has been airing for 6 years, and I have listeners all over the world. Like I had to put that in there. Because they have to monitor it to make sure that I'm not fucking saying anything that's going to betray the show, which is why I told you guys I couldn't fucking say anything because I have a non-disclosure agreement. And right in the paperwork, they had your names, all of your names. I had to give them all of your names. So they were going to call you to find out if I had betrayed the confidence or the trust. That's what they were going to do because you guys were on it. They had you on the list. And I'll tell you what, if they found out that you knew that I betrayed it and that you knew about it and you didn't tell them about it, you're all riding the fucking Treblinka trolley to Zyklon C, the authorities. That's what's going to happen to you. Zyklon C is not for Cookie, and it's not good enough for me. My entire life literally is Sesame Street and 80s metal songs. Like that's the only thing I take from. I have no other reference points. Thank you for whispering. That's not true. Lily's good. She's like, she's the Schmitty whisperer.
Not true.
Well, thank you. She's the Schmitty whisperer. She calms me down when she arrives and she can show up. Oh, I like that random number. Oh, no, hold on. That number's incorrect. There we go. Whoa, that's weird. She just showed me we're at 71. What's the show name?
Well, I'm not sure.
What's the name of the show? No, period. The podcast itself.
Episode 36.
No. What's the name of the show?
The 40-year-old boy.
And what is the most famous photograph in the history of the 40-year-old boy?
Episode 31.
And you just showed me a 71. 40 and 31. It was fortuitous that you would show me that number. It's late. You shouldn't be being forced to do math. I know you should not be forced to do math.
Math is hard. Let's go shopping.
What did we fight about math earlier? What was the thing?
You were fighting with me. I wasn't fighting at all.
You're always fighting. You're a grouch, man. You're totally a grouch. You're Oscar the Grouch. You have a worm named Slimy. He lives here in the house. If you had a worm, where would he live? If you had a worm and he had to live in this house, where would you keep him?
The tub.
Tub's kind of big for a worm.
I don't. The microwave.
Well, that's small. So we need to find something. And that's not conducive to a worm.
I don't know.
All
Where
right,
do you think
okay.
we should go?
Well, if I were to have your house, I enjoy your house. I do like this building.
don't.
No, I do. I love it. And if I were to own a worm, an earthworm, and where would he live in your house? I would actually buy an aquarium for him. That's what I would do. You don't think that's a good move? See, here's the thing. I didn't think you were going to take this seriously. So when you started to look around your house,
I was really confused. I was like, where would I keep
well,
it?
I was
You totally derailed me.
I was committed to the bit because the thing is,
Back to Wheel of Fortune.
I thought you would just like laugh and go, haha, I don't own a worm, jerk. I'm not a grouch. But instead, you actually went, you know what? If I was a grouch and I did own a worm, where would it live in this house? And you started looking around. So I said, I'm going to be in silence until she fucking answers me. And then you did. And then look where we're at. Look where we're at now. No, stop. You're sorry. Well, you know what, folks? I'll tell you what. Let's throw this out to the listener. If you lived in Lily's house, where would you let the worm live?
No, don't answer that, anyone, because someone is going to say vagina.
Phone lines are open. Call right
I'm
now.
gonna do it.
Nobody's gonna say vagina. That would be awful. Although I guess in America's Yearbook they would.
Yes, they'll be like 20 in Lou's vagina.
Well, 20 seems short actually. That seems light for every day. Oh, I got to say that to a dude the other day. I fucking loved it because I love that phrase.
What happened to Wheel of Fortune?
I'll tell you in a second. But I delivered Travis barbecue to a dude, and his total was like 41.40. And he's like, "Here you go, dude." And he handed me the money, and he went inside, and he gave me $26. So I picked up the phone and I called him, and he answers, and I go, "Hey, you're light." And he goes, "What?" And I go, "It's a barbecue guy. I'm outside. You're light, like $20." He's like, "Oh my god!" And he comes back outside. And he goes, "I gave you $46." I go, "You gave me $26." He goes, "Oh," and he reaches in. He goes, "Oh, here's the other 20," and he handed me the 20. But I just like being able to call a guy like a mobster. It was fucking genius.
Light.
Hey, you're light. Dude, you're fucking. I just. You know what? You want to break those ribs? I brought you those ribs. I can break those fucking ribs. You're light. You're like $20 light. So when he gives me the other 20, that's a tip of $5, which is a good tip. I think 5 is a standard tip, quite frankly. But shouldn't you kick a little more in because you were light and I had to wait, right? I'm greedy though. I'm a greedy dude. Like this week, we had a bunch of corporate parties, and there's an out of area delivery charge. And then they didn't tip me on top of it. And I was kind of like grumpy. I'm like, why wouldn't you do that? But, I made $50. But it's like, dude, I still lugged this shit upstairs and all that. And I had to come to you out of the area. You're fucking light. Don't make me come back here. Don't make me come back here.
I feel bad because I was over-tipped during the holidays.
Why does it make you feel bad?
Because people don't treat you right as a driver. I mean.
Oh, you're saying you feel bad for me in this
Yeah,
instance.
'cause I
Oh,
had
okay.
food delivered here the other day, and I gave him a $20 tip. And I mean, I'm not rich, but
Right.
I was just like, dude, your life sucks. It's raining, and you brought me food. Here's $20.
That's the thing I don't understand. And I talk about this at my work all the time.
Yeah.
I go, because when I get stiffed or somebody, they leave me hanging, I'll talk. And again, people are sick of hearing me fucking talk about it. So I've stopped. I've actually kind of stopped. But if someone wants to discuss it, I will. I just want to go, here's the thing. You are a king. You clapped your hands. I hopped in a vehicle and I brought you hot food.
Yep.
Through the rain. And then I ran up to your door. I ran up 3 floors. I knocked on your door, and you gave me $1. And I've had that this week. Someone gave me $1.30. This poor woman, and I felt bad for her because, not really. I guess I didn't feel that bad for her. She was just like, she signed, and I will tell you this. I get stiffed, and I usually just kind of like walk away. But this week I kind of started to, because some drivers are like, you can mention that you got stiffed. And I'm like, really? I don't want to do that. Because again, I'm a big dude and I don't want to, it's fucking intimidating. Then it looks like I'm browbeating them into a tip. And also, you know what? It's not worth my time for $4 to make somebody feel bad. Fuck that. But then this woman, like she took the food and I looked at her and I said, okay. And I went to walk out. She goes, oh, well, let me see if there's money for a tip. And then she went in her purse and she pulled out a handful of change and handed it to me. And it was $1.83 with a paperclip. And I just fucking threw it in my center console because I went, I go, just throw this in the console. I go, no, count that shit. Find out exactly what you got. And I did because it was all dimes and nickels and then some pennies. It was $1.83 and a paperclip. Clink, right into the console. And I mean, whatever the fuck, that's fine. You want to do that, do that. You don't want to tip, you don't want to tip. I guess that's your thing.
Sometimes you can't tip.
But then don't order food.
Yeah, I agree.
That happened this week. There was a guy who lived in a challenging apartment complex. That's all I'll say about it. There's 4 towers.
Oh, yeah.
There's an east tower, a west tower, and then there's a center tower. And in the center tower, there's the north center tower and the south center tower. There's all that fucking bullshit. So I get on one elevator, I go to the top floor, he's not there. I get on the other elevator, I go to the top floor, he's not there. I finally have to call him, and he's like, oh no, I'm in the center of this other tower. I'm like, fuck. And I asked the security guards, they were no help. Finally, I get to his house, and he ordered $70 worth of food, and he opens the door, and I go to hand it to him, and he goes, oh man, I didn't really need this until like 6:45, and it was 6:15. I go, well, you ordered through the computer, and they didn't make the notation, so here you go. He goes, oh, well, the thing is, my friends have the cash, so they were giving me the ones who tipped, so I don't have any cash for you. I was like, oh, all right. And he goes, so here, I made you a joint. And
That's awesome. Oh my god.
and I said, really? And he goes, yeah, here you go. And I said, all right. Because my landlord does not take drugs for rent.
Maybe. Have you asked?
Well, I'm going to start because this is because I'll tell you this is the 3rd time
Somebody gave you a joint.
someone in Venice has tipped me a joint.
That's awesome.
And like I said, when I was a bouncer, that shit used to happen all the time. Guys like wanted to give me a bump to play a fucking song or a bump to let them in the door, and I was just like, fellas, But now it's all weed. But But one dude, oh my God, I went to this dude's house and he's like, I live in the back. I'm like, oh Christ. So I go, there's like a normal house in front, and then you go in the back, and it's Randy Quaid's Vietnam veteran character from The Wildlife. I mean, it's just this dude. I'm in the front, okay, and there's a regular house. You go through the fucking back gate, and all of a sudden, I'm waiting for the My Lai massacre to occur because it's just, I'm looking for punji sticks. I'm waiting to fucking just get caught and fall into a hole and be eaten by a Vietnamese tiger. Like, there's a series of tunnels I've got to climb through to get the guy his food. It was just fucking devastating. And I was expecting a guy on a motorbike to come along and steal my camera. That's how fucking Vietnam it was in the backyard. Because then I went back there and I said, "Here's your order." He said, "Tu beaucoup, tu beaucoup." And I said, "Look, this is a prime example of Alabama black snake." All right. So this guy comes wandering out, and he just he looked like if someone had beaten up Joe Walsh. I mean, that's how fucking, just that kind of goggly-eyed face and the really thinning hair, and just kind of like, "Hey, man." And he wandered out of this fucking shed, and then I gave him. But I'll tell you what, the other guy at least was sheepish about it. "Sorry, man, I don't have any money. Here's a joint." This dude thought I was going to do a cartwheel because I handed him the food, and he goes, "Hey," and he starts like doing his eyebrows. He goes, "All right," and he fucking like, I'm like, he hands me he pulls it out of his shirt, like he reached into his. He had a tank top on, but it was underneath the tank top. It wasn't like under his arm, but he pulled it out. And he's like, "Here you go. Hey, all right," and he hands it to me, and it was big. I will tell you that, because I've seen like joints. Because this other guy made it wasn't a blunt. The other guy made me like a cigarette joint. You know what I mean? Like where it wasn't twisted. But this guy's was twisted, but it was big, and it was fucking literally fatty in the dictionary. You would see this. And I just took it, and he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "That's good stuff." And in my head, I'm like, you know who this guy is? This is Wooderson from Dazed and Confused, grown up, and he lives in a backyard now. All right. What, you got a question?
What did you do with these joints?
Well, I will say that I may not be someone who involves myself in that sort of activity, but there's plenty of guys who do that I might know. So that's all I'll say.
So did you sell it to him?
No, I'll look around and I'll go, "Hey, are you someone who does this?" Because I asked my manager, I go, "What do I do with these?" I go, "What the fuck, do you want it?" And he's like, "Fuck no." And I'm like, "Well," and he goes, "Fine, I'm sure somebody here does," or "Fine," and I'm like, "All right." And I might know people who are acquaintances. I should just save them all for Goebel and just dump them on his head like ping pong balls on Mr. Moose.
Hysterically walking and drop it.
Hey, just dump them all on his head. And he's like, "What? Go fuck yourself." Oh, I should say, all right, I like Paul Goebel. He's a good friend of mine. He drives for Lyft. So when I came home from Chicago 2 weeks ago, I was like, "Dude, can I use your Lyft services?" And he said, "Yeah." And he actually picked me up from Seattle a couple of weeks ago too. And that day I tried to use Lyft and pay and all this stuff, and it would not link up. So I didn't get him as a driver. So he's like, "Fuck, I'll just drive you home," which was nice. So this time around, he's like, "You get a $10 off coupon and I get credit for it." And I go, what does it cost me for the ride? He goes, "Well, nothing." He goes, "It's just, it's donations and stuff like that." So I said, "Okay." So he brought me home, and then it said, "Give feedback on Paul on the app." So I gave the feedback and I hit send. What I didn't realize was hitting send closes the transaction. They charged me $73 for a ride home from the airport.
What?
And I told you, Uber quoted me that too. From my house to the airport, they wanted me to pay $74, and I laughed. But Paul, sure enough, Paul's face was on there, and I wrote a really nice note about him, and I hit send, and it said, "Okay, thank you." And then I went to pay, and it was gone. It when I gave the fucking feedback on Paul, it closed the transaction. And I texted him immediately, and I go, "I think they just charged me $73 fucking dollars." He's like, "That's possible." And I go, "Well, that's fucked, dude. That's not, that wasn't the plan here." Because he told me it wouldn't cost me anything. I had a $10 coupon, whatever. I just wanted him to get credit. And then sure enough, 5 minutes later, I got a receipt. Thank you for paying $73 to Lyft. We gave you $10 off. And I wrote him, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Dude, this is horrible." And I said, "Well, and then he wrote me, and he's like, "I owe you $50. And I go, "No, you don't." I go, "We're square." I go, because he took me to dinner and paid for it like a couple of months ago. I said, "We'll call that even. You paid for sushi once." But I was furious at Lyft. And then the next day, literally the next week, I got a note from Lyft, and it said, "Hey, congratulations for using your Lyft, and we want to bring you back in 2014. Oh, by the way, we are no longer having donations. We will have set prices for everywhere that we go." So they're just going to the Uber model, which made me laugh, because I was like, the thing that set you apart was the donation thing, and now you're just going to compete with Uber. Like, you guys are just now competing taxi services. All right, this is a long fucking story. Where were we?
Wheel of Fortune.
I just did that show. So we had to fill out the paperwork, and so I'm like, hey, do you want to know like all the things I've done? And now there's this buzz in the room. Everybody's like, well, what the fuck has he done? And so I said, all right. So I've been on game shows. I did a show called My Generation on VH1. And that's the thing is, I've done game shows nobody's heard of because then, I said My Generation, and then I said I used to, and what was the other show that I did? Oh, Ultimate Fan League. And then I said I was on Greed, and everybody knew what Greed was. And I said I was actually on Greed twice. And then they're like, what the fuck? Why were you on Greed twice? So then I had to tell the story about them messing my name up and me coming back. And you could tell that everybody kind of was like, oh, fuck, no, this guy's been on TV a million times. And then I said, all right, so that's that. And they go, well, the woman from Standards and Practice is like, well, wait a minute. You said there was other shows too. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's not, these were game shows. And she's like, well, yeah, but what else? We're just, it's interesting for us. And so then I had to tell them I was on Malcolm in the Middle. And then I had to tell them I was in basketball. And then and literally it turned into like people just with their chin in their hands, like just looking at me like, wow, really? Instead of just being some dumb fuck like them. And they weren't dumb fucks. They're all nice people. And sitting next to me, I'll tell you this, sitting next to me in the green room, because when you come in, there's all, chairs, you just sit where you want. So when I got in, the only chair was in the front seat. So I sat down, and a woman sat next to me. Her name was Lillian. And she was a very young girl, very pretty, really nice. And she was from Chicago. And we hit it off. We started talking about Chicago. We started talking about, because she's like, I'm only in town for one day. I flew in last night at like 11 and I leave on the Friday morning. And I heard a lot about In-N-Out Burger and I think I should go there and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, you should go to In-N-Out definitely. And so she and I hit it off. We were talking and hanging out. So we filled out all the paperwork, and then I have to tell them that I wrote for Starface, and I have to tell them that I wrote for other shows, and it's just, but it was 10 years ago and nobody cares, and that's fine. And again, they didn't really need to know about basketball and all that stuff. They just asked. She's like, oh, it's interesting. It's not fucking interesting. I don't want to tell anybody, but I did. And everybody was really friendly and cool. The contestants, because again, they're regular people. They're not jaded show business people. They're there to be on Wheel of Fortune, and they're super excited. And I was too. I can tell you this, I was not as excited as they were, because I knew I was going to fucking destroy all of them. Because I'd say this, there's a recurring thing where they keep coming in and they go, listen, here's the thing. Everybody wins on Wheel of Fortune. You guys are not in competition with one another. You are contestants and you're lucky enough to have made it this far. You are supportive and you all like one another. You are a team. Everybody on here is a team. And so everybody's like, yeah, we're a team. This is awesome. We're a team. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, we're not a fucking team. I'm going to bury all of you people. But then other times, hey, team. Lily and I are on a team. Yay, Lillian. So time goes through and they start coaching you and they start telling you about the prizes that are involved and they start telling you about the trips and they go, all right, who's on show one? Oh, I should tell you this. There was a drawing. They draw ping pong balls out of a coffee cup, or a coffee can, like a big shaker. And they pick people that are going to be captains and they put people aside. They, you get assigned 1, 2, 3, and then you pick the color of where you're going to stand. I mean, it's fucking really, they make it fun and they make it games, but they don't just assign you places. Like you get drawn. Well, actually they assign the people to the games. And they tell you who you're playing against, but then you have to draw numbers to find out, A, where you stand around the wheel, because there's the red, the blue, and the yellow. And then you also have to draw numbers to see what show you're in that day. So they brought it out, and it turned out that I was playing against Lillian and Aaron. And Lillian had been sitting next to me the whole time, and she was like, yay, we're together, we're a team. And I'm like, we're not a team, you're going to get smoked. Yay, we're a team. And I talked to Aaron, she was real nice, everybody was friendly. And then Lillian was the captain. So she had to stand up and pick what number show we would be on. So she wound up closing her eyes and drawing, and she picked number 3, which is pretty perfect because it meant we got to watch the first 2 shows and then learn what was going on and then jump right in at 3. And then they called me up, and I had to reach in and I had to pull out exactly who was going to stand where. I had to pull mine, and then they called Lillian and Aaron up, and I turned out I pulled red, I think, and that's why that was the closest one to Pat. So time was ticking away. We were back there. And it's so funny. Like I said, I get there at 7:15, but between the paperwork and the cheerleading and the lessons and all the stuff they make you go through, all of a sudden you look at your watch, it's fucking 10 o'clock. And it's not dragging. It's just flying by. But it's important to them to have the best contestants they possibly can. And I told you guys, I acted the fool at the fucking auditions. They knew immediately that I knew what was up. They knew that I was fine. But they got to coach everybody else into being responsive and it's amazing how they walk by and they always go, smile, smile. Like, even if you're just standing there, like, smile to everybody. And I will tell you this, I say to everybody, but they didn't really have to say it to everybody. They mainly had to say it to me. Because everybody else had this dumb fucking grin on their face because they can't believe they're going to be on the Wheel of Fortune that day. And I'm just there because I want to win. Like in my head, I'm concentrating on winning. And I was being pleasant and nice and friendly, but also I'm just kind of, let's put it this way. I can be intimidating if I want to be. And even if I don't want to be, sometimes I can get aggressive. And you guys know that. I can get loud, or I can get, sometimes I'll sing in your hallway and you have a day job and you're furious at me, but that's fine. But they recognize that I get intense. All right. Like I want to win and I just want to be like fucking, like I want to be, yeah. And they were just like, no, you can't be angry, happy. You have to just be happy, happy. So they kept telling me, smile, smile, Mike, smile. And then they bring you out to the wheel. And we all go out there and it's all the contestants and we all got our name tags and we're waiting. And we all get to practice spinning the wheel. And then they play practice prizes. They play practice puzzles. And they keep tagging people in. And they come in, and then there's a guy who's the fake Pat Sajak, and he hosts. And it's just to get you used to being on set. You see the used leaderboard, you see the scoreboard, you see who's got what. You see the used letterboard, I should say. So you can see numbers that have been called or letters that have been called. And then there's the actual, and it's as the studio is, you see it on TV. It's 1,000,000 times smaller than you think. It's so tiny. So we get down there, and we're practicing, we're playing, and guys are tagging in, and I get up on there, and they bring out a new puzzle, and they're like, "All right, go ahead and spin." And it was a music group, so I spin, and they're like, "All right, so you can hit on 800," and I said N, and they were like, "All right, 2 N's," or bing, 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 and they said, "All right, spin again," and I spun again, and it was 700. They go 700, and I said P, and they said 2 P's, and I said, "I'm going to solve Gladys Knight and the Pips."
Wow.
And he goes, I should tell you this. I said, "I'm going to solve." And he goes, "No, you're not." But I said Gladys Knight and the Pips before he could get "No, you're not" out because they want you to play. They don't want you to prove how good you are at solving puzzles. But it was important for me to draw a line in the sand so everybody there knew how good I was at solving fucking puzzles. So I said, "I'm going to solve." And he goes, "No." I go, "Gladys Knight and the Pips." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, absolutely, that's completely correct." And they're bing, bing, they go to turn the letters, and everybody claps, but also I can see people whispering to one another like, "Oh, fuck. That's not the guy we want to play against." Because I will tell you this, that happened, I don't know if did I talk about the alternate day at all? Okay. When I was there for the alternate day, I was in the crowd watching shows, and I started to hang out with a few people, and people, when they knew the puzzle, they would lean over and they would say it. Well, I was beating everybody. And finally this woman looks at me, and they're to the point where they were like, "Stop. We want to play." You know what I mean? And I understood that. So I did, and we hung out. But then finally this one woman, as we were saying our goodbyes, she looked at me, she goes, "You have to let me know when you're on because I have to watch you because there's no way you're going to lose." And I said, "Well, I don't know, man. You can't beat the wheel." So I show up and I solve Gladys Knight and the Pips, and they tag some other people in. And I will tell you this, it is crazy because there's 4 contestant coordinators, and they are yelling at you the whole time. Because they to the point where they're like, "Take your ring off so when you spin the wheel it doesn't get caught. Make sure you lean this way and you use this hand. Make sure you throw the wheel as hard as you possibly can. No short arm the wheel because we'll get mad and we'll make you start over." It's just, and they're yelling, they're drilling it into you because they want you to realize you're going to be on a television show. And they're doing it with regular people, so they have to get them conditioned to being on a set, playing along, because stop downs are death. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to call letters and play and play at the speed they want you to play at. And they keep telling you, the faster you play, the more puzzles there will be, and the more chances there are for you to win money. So go, just bang, bang, bang. That's how we want it to happen. So there's this thing where everybody keeps getting tagged in, and they're spinning, and then they had to do promos, and it's all whirlwind. This is all happening so quick. They made us do promos for our hometown because you're going to air on an affiliate. So like if it was Lily, you're from Tampa, right? So they would say, "Do you want me to say that?"
That's fine.
You sure? All right, so Lily's from Tampa. So they would make her go, "Hi, I'm Lily Von Stupp, and I'm from Tampa Bay, Florida. Watch me on WKRC this weekend on Wheel of Fortune." They made everybody do that for their hometown. And they would give them the call letters and whatever the fucking, Action News 9, whatever the fuck that was. So I was looking forward to that until they tell me that I don't have to do one because the ABC in Los Angeles doesn't run the promos. because that's all I'm going to do is crush a fucking promo out of the park. I can't wait. But then instead I have to watch a bunch of normal people try to get a fucking promo out of their mouths. You know what I mean? And it's like, they tried, you know, and some of them were really good. Some of them nailed it first, and some of them were super nervous because they're not used to being on television, and that makes sense. And look, I'm not used to being on television, but I'm used to fucking talking. That's all. So we're doing the promos and we're spinning the wheel, and they're like jawing at us, and the director, then they had to take photos of us, and I actually put the photo up on Facebook. You had to go up and stand there and pose for the photo and smile, and the director was like, you need to smile. If you don't smile, we're going to make you do it over. We're going to take, and they're just, it's intimidating. That's what they're doing. Is they're also moving quick. It's like a fucking military operation. I'm not kidding. General Sajak's in charge. So they finally flow through that, and they bring us back in the green room. We look, and it's 11 o'clock. We're supposed to start taping at like noon, I think it was. So then they bring in sandwiches and they feed us and they're telling us we want to eat. And I won't eat anything. Like there was bananas, and I was so mad because there was fruit, but then there was all these like Danishes and shit, but I'm not eating. You know that? I just want to eat a banana. But these people descended on the bananas like fucking locusts. So they were gone. So I didn't eat. I was in the back, and I didn't want to fucking eat anyway. I don't have an empty stomach while I kill these people. All right, so. But I started to hang out and talk to Lily, and she was real nice. And then we watched the first show, and I was also really worried, I got to be honest with you. I was worried about Jill getting to the studio because it rained the day I taped. It doesn't rain in Los Angeles. And also, there was kind of a question, like Lily said she could do it, but if something came up and she couldn't, then I would have understood, but I would have been fucking crushed. To have nobody there would have been a real drag. But, because, you know, when I win, I can have somebody to come out and hug me, right? So, Lily said that she couldn't make it. She said she would get Jill there. So they let all the crowd in, and then they let us go up, and I look, and I see Jill. And she's alone. But I can't talk to her. I can't even wave at her. I can't do anything, because if you do that, then you're eliminated, you're disqualified, and she gets sent home. It's just a mess. But I saw her, and I will tell you this, that put me completely at ease, because I was happy she was there. I was happy you guys were there, because it meant that someone was there when I won. So they play the first game, and I'm clicking. I mean, I'm solving puzzles, and I'm in the audience, and I'm not talking to anybody, you know, because nobody wants to fucking play. They all want to concentrate, which is fine. So the first show actually aired Monday of this week, and there was a guy who just started hitting big, and the wheel wouldn't fail him, and he kept hitting and getting letters, and by the end of the fucking night he had $35,000. And I watched it, and I'm going, that's me. And then he gets to the final puzzle, and he solves it, and he got like another $30,000. So he had $65,000. He's the first show of the day, solves the final puzzle, everything, like $65,000. And in my head I'm just like, that's awesome, because the third show is going to be the exact same result. I'm going to fucking crush it. So they finish taping. Pat and Vanna go to change their clothes, and those people come up into the stands. And, you know, the crowd is there. There's a mix of people who know contestants, but then Wheel of Fortune is one of those shows that doesn't have to troll for audience members. In Los Angeles, there's a lot of shows that actually have to pay people to sit in the audience. You can make minimum wage to sit there and watch a taping. And those are fucking death. Because we had that at Starface, and we had it at Funny Money. Because it's these wannabe actor types who just want to sit there and check their phone and figure out when they're going to be big-time stars. And they don't want to laugh. They don't want to participate. They're just there collecting a check. Wheel of Fortune doesn't get that. Because it's the #1 game show in America, there are people who still have novelty and still want to be in the audience to see Pat and Vanna, who are celebrities and stars. So, and it's got the name value of being Wheel of Fortune. It's been on for 30 fucking years. So people want to see it. So there was a big crowd. So the first show ends, and then Pat and Vanna go to change clothes, and they come out for the second show. And in the second show, again, a girl starts to hit it. And I think she wound up winning like $26,000. And then she gets to the final puzzle. And they were calling us down to the green room to get ready for the third show. But I wanted to see the final puzzle because I wanted to play one last final puzzle. So I watched it through the doorway, and I solved it. And she didn't. And I was like, that's perfect. It's a good omen. So I go in the back, and they start, they're prepping Lily and they're prepping Aaron. And it's super quick. Pat and Vanna go to change their clothes, and they bring us right out on the set. We take our places, and they have to lower or raise the podium so that you're on all the same eye level. Everything moves. It's fucking weird. You just think that you go there, but no, everything moves. Everything is interchangeable. And they have crew members, I will tell you this, because there are certain spots on the wheel that change. They'll have a trip in the first round and then they'll change it to the $10,000 thing for the second round. And well, once there's a stop down, a phalanx of guys just goes up and starts moving things and taking them out. And with business-like precision, they're very nice, but they're very efficient. And they don't talk to the contestants. They're just like, excuse me, pardon me, thank you, excuse me. But they're very nice. Meanwhile, the contestant coordinators have you by the shoulders and are making sure that you're prepared and ready to go. And they're telling you, it's fast and spin and call letters and buy vowels. And that was the thing. I will tell you this. They tell you constantly buy vowels. Buy vowels. They're like, because it just buys you some time. You can kind of get, and there's always vowels in the puzzles. And these are the keys that unlock the puzzles for people. Buy vowels. And it's so funny. I knew that from watching the show because people are just buying unnecessary vowels. They're buying O's and I's. And I'm like, there's 2 O's up there. But what they're doing is they're buying time to solve the puzzle. And in my mind, I already know the puzzle, so why would I waste money on vowels? It made no sense. But they were like really adamant about it. Buy vowels. You must buy vowels. They're giving us the speech, and me and Lillian are there, and Aaron, and we're just excited. We're excited. So we go up, and we stand by the wheel, and the director's there, and we're waiting for Pat and Vanna, waiting for them to tick it down. And the announcer, the guy who does the Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Fortune, that guy, he's the warm-up guy too. So he walks around and he talks to people and he passes out prizes and he's really friendly and nice. He was really cool to us. I should tell you this. We were in the green room. I don't know if I told you this. This happened for the alternate day too, but I'll tell you now. Did I mention that Vanna came in to talk to us? We're in the green room and there's a knock on the door and all of a sudden just Vanna White walks in. And she's not in her gown or anything. She's wearing a baseball hat and just like a string spaghetti top and fucking jeans. She's carrying an apple and a Danish. And I can only think that it was because it was that day of the month where she got to eat. Because I think she might weigh 98 pounds. That's my guess. But she's a little longer. She's taller. You know what's funny? She's about as big as Jill. Jill Bubbles Charbonneau, friend of the show, representative of all the fans. Yeah, because I always say that Jill is 5 foot nothing. Which she wasn't happy about, by the way. And she wrote me and told me that. I was like, really? Because I used to call her Catfight Jill. And she's like, I'm not Catfight Jill. And then I was like, well, then she's Jill. She's like 5 foot nothing. I'm not 5 foot nothing. What do you want to be? So, this is what I deal with, folks. So Vanna comes in to the green room where we are and and with no announcement, and everybody just like, whoa, and then they start clapping. We all just start clapping, and she's like, hi, you don't have to do that. I'm just coming in to say hi, y'all, and I just want to make sure that you guys go out there and win as much money as you possibly. I'm just really nice, just a nice pep talk. And but she made it a point to come in and say hi to everybody. It was the coolest thing. She was so sweet. So we're there waiting for them to come out, and they do the countdown, and then it's funny. I saw Jill. She was right in my eye line, which was cool because I was just like, every time I win, I'm gonna fucking look over there. It's gonna be amazing. So because all of you were there. You know what I mean? It was like having you all just there cheering in a 5 foot nothing package. So I'm standing there and I'm, Lillian and Aaron and the director's out there and they said, they're counting down. It's like 45 seconds. And they're counting down and I look over at Lillian and Aaron and I go, remember, we're a team. And Aaron goes, absolutely. And I said, so anything we win, we're splitting 3 ways, correct? And thankfully they laughed. And they laughed and they were like, all right. And we fist bumped. We're like, ready. We're a team. And then the announcement starts and then the music happens and then the people start clapping. And then Pat and Vanna walk out from behind the letterboard and here we go. And first toss-up comes. Pat comes right up and you go right into the first toss-up, which they had us test the buzzers and all that stuff. Now, here was my strategy going into the show. Win the toss-ups, win the 3 toss-ups, and win the prize puzzle. Because if you do that, you're in the finals. That's it. That's all you have to do. If you win the prize puzzle and the 3 toss-ups, that's at least $15,000, and that's usually enough to get you into the finals. So the first toss-up comes out, and I will tell you this right now. I made 3 major mistakes during the taping. 3 of them. I didn't want to make any. I figured one was going to be fatal, but I made 3. And the first one I made right off the bat. Because the first toss-up, they said was a song lyric. Which I was prepared for and excited for because I do well on those. So my mind immediately started to go, all right, go into song lyric mode. But here's the fucking mistake I made, folks. I was not aware of my surroundings because they tell you the show, all right, the theme of the show is the great outdoors. So you know at some point there's going to be puzzles that are about the great outdoors. You have to keep that in mind. And I did. What I forgot was that it was the fucking Christmas show. So when they said song lyric, I started thinking of regular song lyrics instead of in my head going, this is going to be a Christmas song. And it's so stupid because when I watch at home in my head, I go, I know the theme. So like, they're like the theme will be tropical islands. And then the first puzzle will be like coconuts and pineapples. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the fucking way it works. The first puzzle always matches the theme of the fucking show. So I was thinking great outdoors and I'm thinking song lyrics, but I forgot completely that it was the fucking Christmas show. And the lyric, the puzzle was a holly jolly Christmas. And if I had just remembered it was Christmas, I would have seen the big word and gone, that's Christmas. And then the second the Y would have come up, I would have fucking had it. I'm so mad. So fucking mad because it kicked off. That's $1,000 that I pissed away because I fucking didn't think of the fact it was going to be Christmas. God damn it. So the letters start ticking off and I had no idea. I had none because you can see the gears spinning in my fucking head as I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going song lyric. And it doesn't seem like, and then she buzzes in and then she goes, aha. And I went, fuck. In my head, I knew. I was like, God damn it. Christmas, dumb fuck. It's the Christmas show. So Erin solves it. And so she gets to start. She gets to be the first person to be interviewed. So he asks her some questions, and she mentions how ultra competitive she is. And I immediately in my head just go, that's going to be great later when you beat her because you're going to mention it. You're going to mention it. And then I went, wait a minute, maybe I can mention it in my interview here. Like if it comes to me, I'm going to go, and Pat, because in my head, I'm formulating what the fuck I'm going to say. Oh, I should tell you this. Before I came out to the set, when they came out and they were prepping us, they bring the card out and they go, okay, well, and they give you your information so you know what Pat's going to talk to you about. They go, okay, so you're a bouncer. I go, no. I said, I was a bouncer when I auditioned, but I go, now it's different. I wrote that I'm a courier in Hollywood. They go, oh, well, it says here that you're a bouncer and that you're a foodie and you like to go out. And I go, yeah. And they go, well, we'll just go with that. And I was like, all right, I don't care. Again, I can do whatever you want. That's fine. And bouncer is infinitely more interesting than courier in Hollywood. So it comes to Pat, and he looks at me and he goes, Mike. And I'm like, yes. And I said, hey, what's happening? Yeah, I did it on purpose. I go, hey, what's happening, Pat? And he goes, Mike Schmidt from Valley Village, California. And he goes, you're a bouncer. What is that? So a bouncer, what does that mean? Like, where do you work? And I said, well, it means I work independent security events or nightclubs all over Los Angeles. And I wind up working security. And he goes, all right, so let me ask you something. Now, again, none of this is rehearsed. This is just banter and you're just talking, which is what I was fucking built to do, goddammit. So Sajak goes, all right, let me ask you something. If I was to act up, if I was to get a little crazy here, how would you take care of it? And it's so perfect because you just see me. I just go, like I make a face and I go, well, I would throw you in a cross-faced chicken wing and run you out the door. And he goes, so you're an effective bouncer. I said, I think so, Pat. And he's like, okay, and you're a food person? And I go, yeah, I like sushi. There's a lot of great Los Angeles restaurants and you'll find me in them all the time. And he's like, great. And then he talks to Lillian, who's a teacher, and he's like, and she cooks. He goes, great, she can cook. And Mike, you can eat. And if Erin gets out of line, you can just go ahead and throw her out of the building. And we all laugh. Oh, because fucking Sajak is perfect. I should tell you this, all right? Pat Sajak is a genius. Do you know how hard it is to make banter with real people look interesting or funny? And he does it. I mean, I sat there, I watched, when I was the alternate, I marveled at how good Pat Sajak was. He is fucking amazing because these are people from all walks of life. It could be a truck driver. It could be a fisherman. It could be a housewife. It could be a steno pool person because apparently they're filming in the 50s. I have no idea when a person from the steno pool showed up. That was the Mad Men theme week. And the song lyrics were rough on that one. The point is he could be talking to fucking anybody, a veterinarian, a goddamn funeral director, and make it interesting and fun, and he'll always have kind of a fun little thing to say, and it's great. And it's also better when you're fun, too, and you can have some fun with you. But man, Pat Sajak is a miracle. He's a goddamn miracle because he makes everybody at ease. He puts normal people at ease, and he just gets the show rolling. It's fucking perfect. He was so good. And I was looking forward to doing it with him. That seems weird. That seems really strange. I would have sex with Pat Sajak. Let's put it this way. I would certainly rub my face on his calf. So then they're like, all right, so it's time for the second toss-up. And he goes, all right, so everybody grab your buzzers, and let's get ready for the second toss-up. And I know it's going to be the great outdoors. Okay? So it's like, and it ticks, and like a T comes up, and there's 4 words. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like a T comes up, and then the P comes up, and I have 3 of the 4 words. On the P, I have 3 of the 4 words. Because I know it's an outdoors thing, and I know it's tent poles and I have no fucking clue what the 4th word is. None. And I'm just waiting for a letter to give me a clue, but none of the letters are coming up in the fucking last word, and I'm like, God damn it, just the first letter. Just give me that. And I'm sure you can see it on my face as I'm studying, and because I have tent poles and in 2 letters. And but you can't buzz in if you don't know it, because then you're frozen out. I'm just waiting for any sort of clue about the 4th word, but I don't camp, fuckers. I have no fucking idea what it could be. It's like tent poles and crocodiles, tent poles and moss. I got no fucking clue. I don't go into the woods. I shit in a toilet like a human being, goddammit. I don't go camping. I've been camping twice in my life. Once I kissed a girl and it was totally awesome, and another time I had a shit in a hole and I hated it. Fuck that. So if it was tent poles and shitholes, then I'm in, because that rhymes. If they would have said rhyming outdoors, I'm in. But it was tent poles and I'm sitting there, and there's no worse feeling than having it and not being able to fucking solve it. It's like I'm so close. Let me say this. I thought there was no worse feeling. We'll get to that in a second. Tent poles and the numbers come, and then the K comes up, and I'm like, well, that should be it, right? And then the S comes up, and I went to click it, even though I didn't know it. I thought in 5 seconds I would get it, but Erin beat me, and she goes tent poles and stakes, and yep, there's $2,000 more for Erin. And in my head, I'm doing the math as it goes along. I'm now down $3,000 to get into the finals, because again, I'm not there to just win some money and have a good time. I need to win the whole fucking thing. And I'm already down $3,000 to her, because the toss-ups are free fucking money. The wheel has nothing to do with it. And now I've lost 2 of the 3. Furious. So it's time for the first puzzle. And they ding, 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 ding. And it's a television show. And it's 4 words. Big word up top. Second big word, and then so I'm looking. So because Erin won, she gets to spin. So Erin spins, and she calls, I think, an M, and then she buys an A. And the A's get turned. There are, what were there, 4 of them, I think? No, 2. There were 2 A's, and they were both in the first word. And I know the puzzle from the A's. There's like 4 letters turned, and I know it. But she's got the wheel. It's America's Funniest Home Videos. And the only thing turned are like the A's and I think the S's. So she spins and she's still solving, and then she spins and she hits a bankrupt. So it's me. And I know the fucking puzzle. And now I'm just going to fucking clean up and win some cash. So I spin. And he's like, time for you. And I was like, all right, baby, let's do this. And I fucking leaned over, and dudes, you can't beat the wheel. I said it to somebody at the alternate show. I said, you know what? Because I know the puzzle. I know it's America's Funniest Home Videos. I've got to try to make some fucking money. And I want to spin anyway. Fuck, get my hand on the wheel and get it going. Let's do this. So I actually said, I go, let's do this. And I fucking spin it. And I look down and I see it coming. I see the bankrupt coming, but I also see the 1 million sliver. Like the $1 million sliver is right between the 2 bankrupts, and it comes over and it starts and it gets on the million, and then it goes to tip over, and I actually go, stop! I yell stop at the top of my lungs. And it goes into the bankrupt. Because I know the puzzle. I'm going to win. And it goes into the bankrupt, and I'm just staring at it, and I'm like, oh. And Pat's like, I actually think the sound waves made it go over to bankrupt. Because you clearly want to have your balls busted at the lowest moment of your life. But it was funny. And so I laughed. And then it went to Lillian, and then Lillian got some letters, I think, and then Aaron. I'm just sitting there waiting. I'm praying it fucking comes back around to me because I know it. I know it. Even if I don't get any money, at least I got to solve it. But it gets to Aaron, and Aaron hits the $2,500 space, and she calls. I forget the R's, I think, or the N's in funniest, which is $5,000, and she says I'm going to solve, and she solves America's Funniest Home Videos, and she now has $8,000. So I'm now $8,000 in the hole to her. And I'm just like, motherfucker. So they do the announcing thing, and I always tell you this too. Lillian had a trip to the Caribbean or something, and then she hit a bankrupt, and she had to hand it over, and so she handed it to me, and I kept it. And Pat's like, no, you have to give that to me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I handed it to him. Because I love nonsense. Nonsense is fucking hysterical to me. So I'm actually holding it, and he looks at me, and he's like, you got to give that to me. Oh, all right, there you go. So then Erin solves it. She's got the big money, and we stop down for a commercial. And then we all walk off. And then they come over to me, and they start like fanning my head. Because I guess I was sweating. I don't know. But I didn't think I was. I was just shiny. But it's funny because the makeup people, and I told you the story about the makeup people popping my eyes, but they were really friendly to me and really nice. So they, am I not speaking properly?
You're good.
Okay. Well, now that feels weird.
That's where it should be.
Oh, because I always like it down, so I talk down into it.
Yeah, but it's a directional mic.
Yeah, but now I look like Lemmy.
Just talk.
All right. So, I can actually feel a boil growing on my face, Lemmy style. This is terrible. All right. Please write in if at this moment, folks, the change. Oh, wait, we're going to put it down?
Fine.
Well, I just want to make sure it's okay.
It's fine.
So, I love that you waited 2 hours to do that, though. I mean, is there, what if you can't hear anything the rest of the time?
You lowered your voice again.
Okay.
And you were not talking right into it, so I just lifted it up a little bit.
Okay. Well, you're the producer. Put it back. Put it where it's supposed to go.
It's fine.
Lily, no, please put it where. No, I'm being nice. Please put it where it goes.
It's fine. Your levels are great. It's fine.
All right. No, I just raised it up.
Too high.
No, it's not. It's fine. This is where you just put it.
It's too high.
Well, you're the producer. Come and fix it.
Put it back where it was. Right there.
There. Okay. I guess that's okay. Can you hear me? Anybody? Test. Test. All right. So again, like I said, the efficient guys come out and they start moving panels and doing all that stuff, and the makeup people come over and they're fixing us, and the contestant coordinators are talking to us. But I start to notice something. The crew guys, like I said, are very efficient. They walk through and they're like, "Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me," and they're doing their job, and they have to get around us all the time. Well, when they're coming over, they're going, "Excuse me, Mike. Pardon me, Mike. Hey, Mike, step aside for a second. Hey, Mike, I gotta get over there." They're all using my name. They're not talking to anybody else. Like the other contestants, they're not going, "Excuse me, Lillian or Aaron." No, the crew guys are like purposely, like they all know who I am. It's weird. But it's not weird, but it's weird. So, and they're being nice, because they got to do their tasks. But I'm saying as they go by me, instead of just going, "Excuse me, pardon me," they're using my name, which is strange. So they give us the prep and they tell us to get ready for the second round, and they put us up, and now I'm spinning first, and so I spin, and I think actually this might be the part where I called Pat Sajak Patrick, because that's what I do, folks. That's what I like to do. I'm like, "Come on, Patrick, let's make some money." So I spin the wheel and I hit a wild card, and you got to guess a letter. And so I forget what it was, but and then I get the wild card. So what you have to do is you have to take the wild card off of the wheel and hold it up, and they tell you they're like, again, like I said, they're like, keep playing, but when you win one of those panels, you have to smile for the camera and look really happy. Please hold it up and make sure you smile. So I win the wild card and I get the letter, and he goes, "All right, you got to pick up that wild card." So I pick up the wild card, and I did a stew look. I held it up next to me and I did the fucking stew look in the distance, and I love it because I love the idea of the director going, "What the fuck is that idiot doing?" Because they're like, "Smile and be happy and joyful, and you got to be smiling and happy." And they kept coming up to me, even they're like, "Smile, Mike, smile. You can't be like, yeah. You can't be like, yeah, you want to fucking win." They're like, "Yay, we're all winning. Yay, we're a team." So I grabbed that fucking thing and I do the stew, and I knew I was doing it. I knew I was going to fucking do it. And I just threw it up and I just fucking stew look in the distance. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, I don't know what that's going to look like on TV.
Brilliant.
So, but I did it. I didn't fucking care. And then I spun again, and now I hit the mystery space. And Pat has to give you a speech. And the best part is, you watch the show, you know what's coming, but you have to let Pat give you the speech. So I turn around and I look like I'm on a fucking dog chain. Like I'm just waiting to do it. And Pat gives a speech, and he's like, well, he goes, you've got like $350 and you got a wild card. We're going to put those at risk, but there's a 50% chance of $10,000 under there. You want to take the shot? And I go, that's why I'm here, Pat. And he goes, all right, well, pick it up. And I pick it up, and I held it to me to see what the number was. Okay. And if it was bankrupt, you got to turn it around or whatever, or 10,000, whatever. So I pick it up and I see it's the 10 grand, and I just fucking turn around and I just go, yeah! And I fucking hold it up in the air, and the crowd goes fucking crazy. Like, I mean, like, I should tell you this. When I did my introduction, I got laughs, like legitimate laughs. And then when I hit that bankrupt and I yelled stop in the first round, the crowd was with me, and you could hear an audible like, oh, like, and I was there for a taping of 6 days. The people are just watching the show and interested, but now they're fucking rooting for me, and I can feel it. So I hit the 10 grand and I'm like, yeah, and I hold it up, and the place goes crazy. And because Pat had said, he just goes, we find out what it is. And I went, yeah. And I go, that's what it is. And I just put it down. And now comes big mistake number 2. I won the 10 grand. So now I have $10,000 and $10,350 and a wild card. And I don't know the puzzle yet. Okay. Because it's really early. I should have bought a vowel, because I was in it and I didn't fucking care. I wanted to spin and make more money, and because I thought I was in control. I'm in fucking control. I just got 10 grand, which puts me ahead of Aaron, who had 8 grand. So I know I'm in the lead now. So now I'm gonna fucking pile it on and get some more letters and make some more cash. So I'm like, let's fucking do this. Let's spin. And I'm like, come on, and I fucking spin, and dude, the place is buzzing. I just hit the 10 grand. The people are cheering. They're totally in it for me. And I should have bought a vowel, because I spin and it starts to come around and I see it, and I'm like, in my head, I go, no, that's not going to fucking happen. And the bankrupt is coming. And in my head, I'm like, no, that's going to stop, right? That's, and you want to stop it. You want to reach your hand down and stop it, because you see it about to happen and you're like, no, that's no. And on TV, when you see it, you can see it coming and you're just like, oh, that poor son of a bitch is going to get fucking bankrupt. Well, now I'm that poor son of a bitch. And it's coming around and it goes, and I just go, no! And it fucking hits. And I'm standing there, and I turned around. I actually turned around, like fucking to face the other way. And you hear the crowd, they just, like, the air goes out of the room. They're like, no. And I turn around and Pat just looks at me and he goes, oh man, that'll happen. I gotta take this, and I gotta take this. He takes the wild card. He takes the 10 grand, and all of it, it's gone. It's fucking gone. And I'm just standing there, because I don't know. And because again, it just moves on to Lillian. That's because the show moves at its pace. Now here you go, Lillian's opportunity. And Lillian starts to spin. They start to hit some letters and buy some vowels. And I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to process it. Because I will also tell you this. All right. I'm doing the math as it goes. So now I'm actually rooting for Lillian. I'm actually rooting for bankrupts, but I want Lillian to win, because I can't have Aaron get too big of a lead on me. So if Lillian splits it, I can still beat them in the final round. That's fine. So they get some letters, they get some vowels, and then she misses, and then it goes to Aaron, and then Aaron is cleaning up. She's like solving it. And I should tell you this too. Lillian bought the U in the prize, because there was 4 words. Okay. And she bought a U, and the U was the second letter in the first word. And that was when I knew the puzzle. I knew that it was cupcakes, cobblers, and cookies. And I knew it, but I didn't have it. And in my head, I'm like, if you had bought that U, maybe it would have triggered it for you at that point. You think the bees are bad on here? Imagine having to stand there with a smile plastered on your face and pretend that you're happy that everybody else on your team is winning money, and you can just see it slipping away. And again, I will tell you this. If you're going to lose in spectacular fashion. Because honestly, I'm not mad about what happened. I mean, I'm mad. I'm disappointed. I wish I would have won. But I'm not that mad, because you can't beat the wheel. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I tried. I had the puzzles. I knew them. But the fucking wheel kills you. to hit a bankrupt on fucking 10 grand, to hit a bankrupt when I had the puzzle in my head and to not have any money. I mean, I'm sitting there staring. I don't know what the fuck to do. So they're solving, they're putting letters out there and she hits the U, and I know it's cupcakes, cobblers, and cookies. And then Aaron is in control, but then Aaron hits a bankrupt and it comes back to me. And I'm like, let's make some money, Patrick. And I spin the wheel and I hit half a car. And it makes a little horn noise, and then he's like, well, you give us a letter, and I gave him the letter. I should say, that's my favorite part, too, by the way, with the $10,000 one, because it lands on the $10,000 space, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, need a letter. And I just go, S. Like, the interplay of it was really fun. So I get the half car, and I hold it up, and I do another stew look. And I put it down. And he goes, well, you're going to spin, because there was only one letter left, and it was a vowel. He goes, so you're going to solve the puzzle or spin? And I go, yeah, I'm going to solve this puzzle, Pat. And then I solved it. So it was great to solve a puzzle, but I only had $1,000, which I know it's silly to say only 1,000, but now I'm $7,000 down to her. But if I get the third toss up, that's $3,000, so that'll be fine. So I solved the puzzle, and I'm looking out into the crowd when I solve it. Like I look over, and people jump up. Like to cheer, like they jump up and they clap. They're like, and they're going crazy. They're yelling. And so he comes to me, and when he comes up to me, I shake his hand and I get really like close to him to talk to him. And I'm just like, Pat, good to be here. And he just laughs. And he comes up and he's like, well, he goes, you get you $1,000. No, that's better than nothing, right? We're sorry about that bankrupt or whatever he says. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. And he goes, make sure you hold on to that half a car. So and I have the half a car, and I pick it up and I just hug it to my chest like a clipboard. And he goes, well, I didn't say to snuggle with it. I said just to hold on to it. I'm like, all right. Because I'm doing bits with Sajak. And he laughs, and then I put it down, and he throws it to commercial. And as he throws it to commercial, I would tell you, I didn't know that this was going to make the air, but you can see the tail end. You can hear the beginning of what he says to me. Okay? If you watched the show, you heard it. Because I did the snuggling of the fucking half a car, and I put it down. And they go to commercial. And he looks at me and he goes, if you can't have fun here, where can you have fun? And I said, exactly. But all that airs on the show tonight is if you can't have fun here, and then it clicks away. But here's what he said to me. He goes, if you can't have fun here, where can you have fun? I said, exactly, Pat. And he leans forward and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, keep it up. Everything you're doing, keep it up. It's great. And he walks away. So now I have $1,000. And I have the undying loyalty of Pat Sajak. And we step down, and they come in and they fan me, and they start putting the thing on me, and Lillian and Aaron, and they're talking, and they're giving us the briefing about the third puzzle, and they're telling us about the new spots and the express and what's going to happen. And the crew guy comes over to me, and he goes, hey, Mike. And I look at him, and he goes, here, hold this. We just want to make sure you don't lose it. And he gives me the half car to hold. So I'm like, okay. And he goes, remember, there's another half on there that you can play for this round. This is a crew guy. He's not talking to anybody, but he makes sure to talk to me. The other guys are, Mike, are you okay? Mike's, they're being nice to me, and they know my name. It's fucking awesome. So we go back to play the third round. This is the prize puzzle. And Lillian spins first. And you want to win the prize puzzle because that's, like I said, it's like $6,000. So in my head, I'm like, I have to win this. I have to win this. So we spin and we spin, and Lillian is first. And so she spins. Now, what are the letters that always get called? R-S-T-L-N-E. So she spins, and the first letter she calls is a T. There's 4 of them.
Ooh, wow.
And there's only 4 words. No, 5 words. But one of them's a small word. So she calls the T. And then she calls the S. And there's 2 S's. And she calls the N. And there's 2 N's. So that's 8 letters. And she's hitting money. And I'm watching it fade away. And because even if she hits a bankrupt, it's going to go to Aaron. And I have to hope she hits a bankrupt. But I had the puzzle on the T's. The first letter she called, I knew exactly what it was. But so did she. The puzzle, like, get this. Dude, get this. Get this fucking garbage. I was so fucking mad. Because if I had had it, I'd have been thrilled. But the fact that she got it, dude, RSTLNE, we all know RST are the letters to call, and also N. The puzzle, this is the puzzle. The hottest show in town. The second the T's came up, I go, I have it. But so did she. And she kept spinning and spinning. And I'm watching it fade away. And you can see the life draining out of me. Because I wanted to win the toss-ups and the prize puzzle. If I don't win the prize puzzle, I'm dead. Because Aaron, the only good news is it's not Aaron winning everything. Because then if they split it, I got a chance with the $5,000 space. But Lillian, sure enough, she solves it. And then she gets the prize. And I will tell you this, the prize was a trip to Vegas. Which, I would have taken it gladly. But it was more about the cash. Because I would rather go to fucking, Japan or wherever the fuck they were giving trips to. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. She wins and it's like $7,000 plus the money she won from all the T's and the S's and shit. So she's got $18,000. I have 1,000 with one puzzle left. I have to hope it's a giant puzzle. I have to control the spin. Aaron has to fail and I have to control the spin. And I know I'm dead. And when I watch the show today, you can see it. I'm clapping, but I'm pissed. And you can see that I'm pissed. But I'm trying to be smiley. Yay, we're all on a team. And plus, I get 6,000 of her dollars, right? So then they call the break and we go down and they start talking to us. And Lillian is she can't stop smiling because she's going to win. She knows she's going to win unless Aaron does something. But they're killing me. I have not even a factor. But what's funny is they're giving the speech and all the crew guys are still talking to me. Mike, you okay? Mike, and also I lost a half car because you can't find it in the third round. Because again, if I win the car, that's more money too. Fuck. So it goes to the fourth round, and Aaron gets to spin to start, and it's not. They turn the letters. It's not a big puzzle, and I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dead, and I knew I was dead. So they put it up, and she spins, and she gets some letters, and I'm like, I'm finished. I'm trying to be. I'm in my head. I'm like, you have $1,000. You have just, and I was so mad. God, I was so mad. And you can see it on TV. But then she hits a bankrupt or a lose a turn and it comes to me. And I basically, Pan has to do a final spin and I know I'm dead. And I think I already had 1,900 because I gave a letter and it turned and, honestly, at this point, it was like an out-of-body thing where I'm just like, fuck. So then he gives the final spin, and I will tell you this. If you watch the show, Pat Sajak, he always spins hard on the final spin. But this time, I'm telling you he did this. I know people won't believe me. But he short-armed the spin to try to hit the $5,000 space for me. I know he did. Because the $5,000 space, he actually looked down the wheel to see where it was. And he might do that all the time. But he actually kind of short-armed it, and it spun, and he just missed it. He hit the 900. So they had $1,000, which is 1,900, and I already had 1,900 on the board, and so I guessed there was 5 letters left, but no double letters, so I couldn't make any extra money, and I guessed the P, and I got it, and then I solved the puzzle, which was great. And when I solved the puzzle, you hear people go crazy; they start cheering. And then he turns around to walk near me, and I shook his hand, and I leaned in. And he comes around and he goes, well, that's better. He goes, that's certainly better than 1,000. Now you've got almost $5,000, 4,800. That's good to take home. And I said, I appreciate you having me. Merry Christmas. Because I remembered then that it was Christmas. Like I did, because I'm a pro, folks. I'm a pro. So then he talks to Erin, and she's got a ton of money. She wound up winning like $14,000, I think. And cause she got the third toss-up. I should mention that, by the way. The third toss-up was decorative pillows. I had no clue. So I can't even bitch about the third toss-up because I had not one fucking inkling of an iota of an idea of what it was. I would have never gotten it. They could have put up like 7 more letters and I would have fucking missed it. But Erin got it. And so she had all her money, and then Lillian wound up winning. And we go walking. You're done. You're just finished. And Pat says his goodbyes, and then he says goodbye to everyone, and then you're finished, and they take Lillian to go play the final round. And I was devastated because, you know why? Because I disappointed you guys. And I know everybody's like, you didn't and whatever. And I get that. That's fine. But I was pissed because I wanted to win. And we fucking followed this for 8 months. For 8 months. And I wanted to go there and clean up. Because just fucking once, I want to come here with good news. Like really good news. Because it's good news. I won $5,000. I can buy a bed now. That's fine. But at the same fucking time, wouldn't it have been so sweet to fucking just come here and be like, guess what? I dominated. Of course. But that's what we wanted. That's what everybody rooted for. And the thing is, you guys looked forward to it for so long, and you kept going, oh my God, I can't wait. And you almost made it like a fucking weird holiday. Like, it was just not only Christmas, but it was also fucking Mike Schmidt on Wheel of Fortune Day. And people kept writing me and talking about it. When is it on? And then it wasn't going to air on the East Coast because of basketball games. And people were furious. And this whole time, I've known that I lost. And I wanted to tell you not to watch. I wanted to tell everybody, you don't have to waste your time. You don't, because I didn't win. It's just, there's no point in watching. Because, and I love it, you know, people watched today and they were really great. Everybody was great. And they wrote me, you know, and they're really fun. A couple people busted my balls. You know, someone wrote on Facebook, I can't believe I wasted not wasted. I can't believe we spent a half hour to watch you hug half a car. That was what they said. And I'm just like, all right, well, you didn't have to. I mean, I'm glad you did. Thank you. And that's so funny. That's why when I wrote the thing on the wall yesterday, I was like, I hope you enjoy my nonsense. Because that's really, because I knew I didn't win. So I knew I had to kind of say, I hope you enjoy me being me on TV. That was it. Because I knew I wasn't going to fucking win anything. But people were so kind, but I was so fucking devastated. I was so pissed, man. I walked backstage and I knew I had let everybody down because that's what I wanted to do was fucking take it home. So me and Aaron go upstairs and we're filling out our paperwork. And it's just they kick you right out the door. Like you finish super fast. You saw it's like with Greed. Greed was worse. When I lost $100,000 and then I'm just standing on the street staring. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? At least this one I won $5,000. So I went upstairs. I filled out all the paperwork and I went downstairs and I grabbed my shirts. And then when you leave, you have to go through the crowd. So I go up and they're about to break for lunch and switch crowds. So when I get up in the stands, I walk through and all the other contestants are looking at me and they're like, you were fucking amazing. And I'm like, oh, thanks. They go, well, no, I'm sorry you didn't win, but it doesn't matter. You were fucking hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Thanks. And then I walk over to where there's real people. And as I start to walk, people start clapping. Like people in the audience clap for me when I walk up. And I'm like, hey, hi. And they're just like, we were sticking for you, man. We were totally rooting for you. Everybody up here wanted you to win. That was fucking amazing. This guy said fucking amazing. And his wife looked at him like, shh. But he goes, no, I mean it. It was so great. And then other people came up to me. People wanted autographs from a game show contestant. So weird. Yeah, exactly. A bouncer was a game show contestant. But it was like they were so friendly and cool about it. And it was funny because people were talking to me. And all I could see was Jill. As I walked up and I looked through everybody. Because I just wanted to talk to somebody I knew who would understand how disappointed I was. You know, I mean... It was really cool that everybody was really nice and friendly and they wanted to talk to me and they wanted to meet me and shake my hand and stuff. But I had to go to her and just because I wanted to go, man, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that happened. I was so disappointed. And then it was worse that you weren't there and all this stuff went through my head and I lost and it was just I just wanted to get out of there. And I wanted to be with somebody who knew how I felt. And then I walked through and I made it to Jill and, she was smiling the whole time, I should say, by the way, when I got up into the stands, just this devastating smile that I saw from the end of the bleachers. And I walked all the way to her and tried to get through people, which was really nice. Everybody was friendly, shaking my hand. And then I get to her and she's smiling and she goes, you were incredible. I said, I lost. And she goes, you didn't lose? She goes, are you kidding me? You didn't lose. That was the greatest. And I said, that's fine. I'm sure it was great and fun. And it was fun, but it's over. And I didn't win. And she goes, you won. She goes, you won. She said, there's a guy up here. His name's Tony. And she goes, he came to talk to me because he said in the middle of the break, he wanted to know who was with you. He said, hey, who's with Mike? Raise your hand. And I raised my hand and he looked and he goes, I've worked here 30 years. He's the best contestant we've had in the history of the show. And she said, and I felt so happy for you that everybody, she goes, you don't understand. Everybody wanted you to win. Everybody. And I go, yeah, but I didn't win. She goes, but you won. She goes, whether you won money or not, you got to be you. And all of these people loved you. It was so great. She goes, I can't tell you how proud I am of you and how proud I am to have been here with you. She goes, she was talking to another contestant's family. And she was like, oh, I'm here with, a friend. I know, she's trying to explain who I am from the internet. Yeah. So I was like my friend. And she said that those people went and sat somewhere else. And then when I was winning, when I was doing well and funny and all that, she turned around and looked at her friend, and she was like, those people that were her acquaintances, and she pointed, and she's like, that's him. And all of the people were just like, that's amazing. Like they were so happy for her and happy for me. And I'm like, but I lost. And she's like, you didn't lose. And I walked out, and people stopped me. And then that guy, Tony, stopped me, and he goes, hey, and he shook my hand, and he goes, you are the best. You're the best we've ever had here. I wish you would have won. I'm like, yeah. And it's funny. It was just like, no kidding. It was just like greed. I told you, when I lost on greed and I went backstage, there was a guy with his head in his hands, a producer, and he's like, why didn't you win? Because that's what they want. It's so funny. When I told Pat Francis that I was going to be on, he watched the show tonight. And then he texted me, and he's like, you know that game shows aren't rigged because you would have won everything if they were. And it's totally true, because that's what they want. So I just wanted to get Jill and get out of there. I mean, I just wanted to, because I was crushed, man. I won't lie, because all I could think about was you guys being disappointed. And then I thought for the next month I was going to have to trick you guys into watching this, thinking that something good had happened. And so I was not, and I walked out, and that Tony guy stopped me, and then other crew people stopped me, and they, I should tell you this, when the show ended and I went in the back and I finished my paperwork, I came down, the contestant coordinator hugged me, and she just went, thank you, because I make them look good, because they found me, and I did exactly what I did what they want. Everybody was so great, and the crew was super nice. They all, Mike, and they were sorry for me. They were just like, oh man, I'm so sorry that happened. You should have won. Oh my God, Mike, it would have been so great if you won. Like they work there. They've worked there forever. They don't root for anybody, and it's not that they were rooting against the people I was playing for, but they see it all day, every day, and so they saw someone who was interesting and made it interesting for them to come to work, and so that was great. I mean, I will say that. So. I left, and we get in the car, and Jill and I are driving, and she just says, you were really incredible. Like I was so happy to be there with you, and I just thanked her, and I looked at her and I go, I can't be upset because it wasn't my fault. When I lost on greed and I lost the 40 grand, that was my fault because I didn't buzz in and give an answer that I should have given. That was the other main loss that I had. When I lost the second time on greed, it wasn't my fault. The guy changed an answer that was right. There's nothing I could do about it. This one, you can't beat the wheel. And it was so funny that I had said that to that woman as the alternate. I knew, because I knew. But I never thought that it was going to happen to me. I thought I was just going to fucking dominate. It wasn't going to be a problem. So I lost. But then as I was talking to Jill, and she was telling me, she kept, because there were things I'd forgotten. And she's like, I saw you on the monitor. You looked amazing. And she goes, you looked so happy, like you were having so much fun. And everybody caught that. It was so infectious, and everybody felt that way. They were all rooting for you. Everybody was rooting for you. And I thought about that. Everybody was rooting for me. And it was funny, the whole experience then, when you look at it in that prism, it was essentially a smaller version of this show. Because I showed up, and I won everybody over. And everybody in the place was rooting for me. And though I didn't come through in the way that I thought I was going to, I had a lot of small victories. And everybody was there along the way. And those people will remember me if I ever do have a huge victory. Just like you guys. You'll be there when I have the huge victory. And I will. It's going to happen. And then I thought about, you know what? I got to call him Patrick. And I was funny. And he laughed. And he leaned in and he said, dude, fucking keep doing this. Keep doing what you're doing. So he recognized it. And I got to do Stu looks on fucking national television. And I was so excited about it because I had forgotten about them. You know what I mean? Because I just did them in the moment. And then today to see people on Facebook going, I can't believe he did Stu looks. Fucking awesome. And I got to say, hey, what's happening, Pat? I got to do little subtle things that mean something to you guys. And, I didn't win what I wanted to win, but I fucking won. I won because I was able to do what I wanted to do for you guys. And I was able to do it for Jill, who was there, representing everybody, all of you. However, I think I mentioned earlier in the show that there were 3 huge mistakes that I made. And I think I've covered 2 of them. 1, as you know, I forgot about the Christmas theme. 2, I didn't buy vowels after the $10,000. The third big mistake I made actually involves you guys. Because when I flipped over that $10,000 placard, I talk about how my mind moves fast. And I was going to yell, "That's $10,000, Pat! Ha ha, yeah!" But in my head, I said, I'll do that when I win. And that's why I so quickly wanted to spin, because I just wanted to build up the cash. And then when I won, I was going to look at him when he came to shake my hand and go, "That's $10,000, Pat!" So that was probably my hugest mistake. I should have done it in the moment. I should have done it when I flipped it. Because in my head, it literally, like that fast, I went, say it, don't say it. Say it when you win. And it was the only time all day I didn't follow my instinct, and it was wrong. And it turned out to be the biggest mistake that I made. Because I won. Just by being there, I won. And by not doing that, I didn't allow myself to celebrate that small victory. But that's the thing. They're all small victories. There is no gigantic finish line where you're going to be fucking crowned the champion and I'm going to stand on a podium with the rest of the Black Panthers and put my fucking glove-clad hand in the air. That's not going to fucking happen. It's small victories, and you're there for them. You're with me, and you're making them happen, and we're doing it together, and we're just going forward, and that's it. Fuck it. I'm done. I'm done waiting and hoping for some giant fucking payoff. I've said it before, but you just got to celebrate every single victory that comes along, and you got to recognize them when they arrive so you don't fucking let them pass you by. There's got to be a touchdown dance for every single victory that you have, and I'm going to do it. Fuck it. From now on, anytime I have a small victory, I'm celebrating it, and you guys are going to be there, and you're going to celebrate it with me, and I'll celebrate your small victories if you want me to. Just let me know when they arrive, and I'll fucking do it. I will climb up the podium with you, and I'll throw up my fucking glove-clad hand in the air like a goddamn Black Panther. I will do that with you. I will celebrate your small victories. You will celebrate my small victories. Because that's why I'm here, Pat. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can find our friend David Hernandez on Facebook. Be his friend at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. If you'd like to get him to do some artwork for you, if you'd like to do that, he's at artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is the producer of this show, and really just benevolent and nice and giving of herself every single week, and I do appreciate it, especially this week because she's in for a long night. You can follow her on several different Twitter accounts, twitter.com/MNTs, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. If you want to be her friend on Facebook, go to facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you want to write her a personal note and find out if she's ever going to watch my Wheel of Fortune episode, either live or on television, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Behold him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, the 40-year-old boy, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. The finest gifts we sell, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Your business, here for you. A big angry and artwork too. For the life of Schmitty, get a shirt with a big yurter on the front of it. Your business, can it be? Every child must be made to know about the stuff at Tweaked Audio. Sweet earbuds so that you can rock a watch you can wear on your car. I pray you want to
will see the day of glory. I see the day when men of goodwill finally own Schmitty comes alive. Your business, can it be? Can it be? It's a pretty thing, isn't it?
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. The producer of that show is a good friend of mine, a good friend of yours, and she's sitting right here. Her name's Lily Von Stoop. Hey, Lily, how are you?
Good. How are you, Michael?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you a wheel watcher?
Not anymore. I can now take it out of my DVR. I don't have to, I will actually watch the rest of the week to see the people that I knew and see how they finished and what they did. And but I mean, I'm now done with the Wheel of Fortune for the rest of my life. I don't need to watch it ever again.
They bring you back for,
That's never happening in a billion years. They have so many people to bring on the show. They're not doing a best. No. It's funny, Pat, when I was telling Pat about it, he was like, "Did you come back the next day?" And I said, "No, they don't do that." Because the winner doesn't come back. And I go, "No." That's how long ago he was on. When he was on, the winner came back the next day. But not anymore. They have so many people trying to get on the show. So,
Don't they ever do like the best of the wheel?
doubt it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Hope so. Maybe next week. What if they call me right away? Dude, we need you immediately. No, other shows will do that. But I mean, I don't know if they have. I mean, I have no clue. But here's my favorite thing. People were twittering and writing me on Facebook and things. And they watched it. And a lot of people have taken photos and put them up, and that's really great. Someone took a photo of the stew look and threw it up. But here's my favorite. I mean, everything was great. But some guy retweeted something to me from a guy that has no idea who the fuck I am. And it was just on Twitter. And this guy wrote, "This guy on Wheel of Fortune is like an angry Jeff Lebowski." So it's like, even with all the smile and all the bullshit and the clapping, I still looked angry to this guy for some reason. So it still came through. That's good to know. I still came through. Mike showed up. So that made me laugh. But how are you? Enough of me and the wheel. We've talked about it. How is Lily?
Good. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm sorry I didn't get to watch it tonight. That whole Christmas Day thing kind of got in the way.
You were busy heading out, and I understand that. And yesterday you were ill, but now you're better and everything's fine. Although you've got back issues now, and that's happening. Yikes. Well, because you performed Monday, you danced and did stuff.
Weather change really fucked me.
Really?
Yeah.
What, the heat? It's all nice out.
The cold weather brought arthritis
Oh.
in both my knees and my arm and my hip and.
Good Christ, we're gonna die. Both of us are old.
We all die alone and afraid. Happy holidays.
Wow. Okay, well, you guys can get Lily at. I was at the Monday Night Teas this week, which was the Charlie Brown Burlesque Christmas.
Womp, 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 womp.
Totally fun. Sophia Serena.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's sharp. And then Bo Toxic.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know Bo's
Slutty the elf.
Slutty the Elf, but also funny. Like, it was interesting, but she's hot. You know.
I want to do a funny act, and I really want to be Buddy the Elf, and I don't want to be Buddy the Elf, and oh my God, Santa's coming! And I'm like, that would be great. Do it.
Yeah.
She was hysterical. She gave out gifts before the show. She sent one for you.
Yes, she did. Very
You
nice.
weren't there.
Yeah, I can't. But I mean, because like, she's super hot and stuff, and she's really nice to me all the time. But then she's got a husband who's like totally cool, so I feel weird, like kind of objectifying her. You know, you're just looking at her like, well, you don't, yeah, because you're you.
Objectifying her at all.
All right, yeah, I do. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good person. That's how it goes. So all right, well done. But she was great. The show was great. You performed, and you were fucking hysterical as always. Did a nice spot. And you were business Lily for a while, even in costume. That was fun.
What does that mean?
Because you walked around with your clipboard and you were like, "I'm so mad right now," and I'm like, "Why are you mad?"
My zipper broke.
Yes, I know, but it
Horrible.
would just make me laugh because you get lost in it so quick. It
was-
makes me laugh.
Well, it's a third of my act,
Well.
and my zipper broke.
I loved it.
Sucked.
Couldn't tell. It was great.
Well, it was, I'm fantastic.
Well, of course, you know exactly what you're doing. And this week's Monday Night Teas is on sale now at Brown Paper Tickets. And is it a theme show or a regular show?
It is an irregular show.
All right.
It's the eve of New Year's Eve. I have a brand new host who is a comedy kind of guy and
Cool.
does balloons, and he's funny. And
Very nice.
you
I've met Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And you'll be there? Will you be performing, or will you just be working the door?
I will not be performing. I
Oh.
pretty much blew my wad last week.
I think I'm going to come to this show
Good.
because there's a listener of this show who wrote me today to say, I'm going to be at the Monday Night Teas next week. Will you be there? And so I'm here to tell you, yes, I will be there now because
Buy tickets?
I think buy tickets less if you haven't bought tickets yet because they're going to go out and get sold out. You can't just show up and walk in. So tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com for the Monday Night Teas for the next few weeks. We'll talk about those shows later on, but always available. And also you can go to join the facebook.com/Monday Night Teas page and learn about upcoming events and all the dancers and all the people that are going to be there. It's going to be fun and exciting. And we've got Stuptember is in 9 months, but your birthday is coming up in January, and there'll be a big show for that.
I'm having a quinceañera.
A quinceañera. All right. Well, that's going to be fun. And yet you're buying a funky, like a crazy dress from what I understand. You're gonna,
Hopefully.
yeah, awesome. So all that's coming up. So buy tickets to those shows at brownpapertickets.com. You can go ahead and find all those tickets, and all the information is available on Lily's Twitter feeds, which I gave you earlier, or go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and join the page, and you'll get all the information. Go to facebook.com/the40-year-old boy and become my friend and read all the people said cool things about me on the Wheel of Fortune. That was really nice. And remember, you can join the West Side 86 Jokers. That's the fan club page on Facebook. And I will tell you this, part of me doesn't want to let anybody else join because we are at 729 members. And that's my birthday, which I enjoy. I was born 972. No, I'm born in 729, of course. So part of me was, every time I see it, I'm like, I don't want new people there. But of course I want new people. So please join the Westside 86 Jokers page and become a fan of this show. Or you're already a fan, but tell people you're a fan. I don't know how it works. All I know is there's a fan club page that you can join. And there's, sometimes I put up stuff that's exclusive, but it's really more of a community where all of you in the inner circle get together and talk about how much you like me. And you wonder if I'll ever call you or if I'll talk to you. And you wonder why I'm so cool. And I can't explain it. I'm just cool. Now let's do this. Let's do a 40-year-old boy Christmas, Lily. Which is going to be, I'm sure you're ready to stab me because it is late, but I will power through and open what I can.
Okay.
All right. So first, let's talk about this DVD I received. This I did open because I get an Amazon package at my house with like no return address or anything, and I opened up. There's no card, but it's a DVD called The Naked Prey, which is a movie I've talked about on here. It was a movie when I saw when I was a kid. It's about a guy. It's an expedition in Africa, and then they get caught by some natives, and the natives do terrible things to them, and then they turn one guy loose naked to run through the desert, and then they hunt him down. It's an amazing movie. Cornell Wilde made it, and our friend Tyler Smith from the Battleship Retention podcast sent this to me for Christmas for no reason. Just
seems like a lighthearted Christmas film.
he goes, dude, you mentioned this in the car once, and so I wanted to make sure that I sent it to you. And I'm like, that's amazing. And then I was like, and this is funny here, and here's how I fucked it up. Of course I messed it up. So he texted me to talk, and then he's like, hey, did you get anything from Amazon in the last few days? I'm like, dude, was that you? I thought that might be you, because he had asked for my address, and I didn't know why. And you know me, I'm very suspicious. So I was like, hey man, I would love to watch this with you. That'd be totally fun. And then he wrote me and he's like, yeah, maybe we could do that. That's fine. Although, you have no obligation to keep it. You can trade it in for something you might actually like. And I just typed, shut up.
That's awesome.
And then I wrote, clear enough. And I said, I love that movie. I would look forward to seeing it with you. And then he never answered me. He didn't say anything. And then I was like, and the shut up thing was probably more harsh than it sounded. It's texting. It was said with a smile. And he just wrote, fair enough. And I'm like, I fucked this up now. I just by texting, now somebody thinks I'm a dumbass.
Joking.
Well, I explained it even further, and he's like, I'm not offended at all. I'm fine. But it was just like, so I felt like a dick.
I don't know why you apologized.
Because that's all I do, because it's my fucking default position, is I wind up fucking apologizing to everybody in the goddamn world. All right, let's take a look at this. Oh, here's a card. This card comes to us from Champaign, Illinois. I don't know who it could be. Merry Christmas. There's a photo inside. Happy holidays from Jenny, Matt, and Rummy?
Please tell me it's a naked photo.
No, why? I just said there's a Matt in there. We don't want to see, I like Matt Henshaw, but I don't want to see Matt naked.
I do. Let me see.
Okay, well, it's Jenny and Matt and their cat, Rummy.
I love the fact that they're all like not in the picture.
They're all the way to the far right. I like that. That's a good move.
Awesome.
So Matt Henshaw has sent us a card, and it says, and he wishes us all these, and he signs it.
Fake fire in the
That's
fireplace.
perfect.
Awesome.
So great. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. That is so nice of you. All right, what's this now? All right, here's a card from. This is from, where is it? Richmond, Virginia. I don't know who that, and there's a big fruitcake sticker on it. So that's kind of odd. But I have to look at oh my God, I opened it with the fruitcake sticker. Oh, it's tearing. It's making, oh, Jesus, I destroyed this envelope. All right, so. And this is a card. Oh, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Francis Waddell.
I like the card.
Of course you do. That's great. And Francis sent us this card, and it's like, and she has a note in here. Should I read this out loud? Well, she stood in line to pay for this card.
As opposed to what, stealing it?
No, she's all right. I'm not out of context. She's like, yes, I did actually find this card and stood in line to pay for it and addressed an envelope and wrote some nonsense in the card. Hello. And mailed it, and I put a stamp on it, and then I mailed it. All this for a dumb card. Well, thank you, Francis. Yes, she's being sarcastic and having fun. And so thank you, Francis. Francis is our good friend of the show. And by the way, Francis also with very smooth calves, from what I understand. I didn't get to check them, but I had a surrogate check them because that's how I work it. I have surrogates take care of it. All right, here's a card from Santa Barbara, California, ladies and gentlemen. Who could this be from? Santa Barbara. Let's rip it open. Let's take a look. Happy holidays. Wishing you a happy holiday season. It's from Louie and Nicole Vicuña. And I won't read it again. It's a long note, but they wanted to thank us for the podcast. And they've been listening since year 2. And Nicole, they've met me a couple of times at shows because they've actually come to live shows. They've seen me in San Francisco. So thank you, Louie and Nicole, for writing that. I do appreciate that. And I think you met them actually at the first show in San Francisco, possibly. It's funny. I want to read all these cards and stuff, but it's late, and I'm like I gotta get out of here. I feel so bad. Who's this card from? This card just says Mike on it. I don't know who this is from. Let's open it up. All right, and it's I recognize that goatee. Enjoy all the little moments that become fantastic memories. Merry Christmas, love, Eddie and Lily. Oh, that's from you guys. This is the afterthought card where I was the last one left. I know it was not. And I have a gift inside. I have a Scratchers ticket.
You better scratch it off. Let's find out if you won.
Should I scroll? Well, with the theme of today's show, that would actually, I don't want to win. It would ruin it, I think. All right, what can I use to scratch it off? What should I use? I guess I could use my fingernail, right?
Here, I only have my jar of change right here.
Let's take a look. Let's use a quarter. Wait, you know what? All right, here's how weird I am. What year is this quarter? 95? Do you have a 67?
No.
All right. All right, how does this one work? Match
Scratch
3.
them all off, I'll tell you if you won.
Holy God. $100. Ticket. $40. $40. $10. Sweet $10 spot. Uncover a snowflake and we win $10 instantly. There's a 13.
You didn't win.
But it's a small victory that I got the card in the first place. Let's celebrate it. Touchdown dance. All right, I'll take that win. That's fine. There's a win. That's a win. We're celebrating that win, folks. Awesome. Well, thank you for thinking of me, Lily. That was totally cool.
Of course.
I feel like a dumbass now because I did not get you a card, and I've ruined your Christmas by making you stay up all night, and not even doing anything fun like telling ghost stories. I have apparently I've forgotten how to work an envelope. There we go. All right, there. Let's put that away. I like that Eddie drew his little face on there. He drew his goatee on the dude. Eddie. All right, we have this card here. Where's this from? This is from Canada, it looks like. Toronto, Ontario. Indeed. And it is it is an awesome Santa with a spiky mohawk. Let's see who this is from. Fuck yeah, it's Christmas. That's what it says. Oh, it's Merry Christmas from an internet ghost.
That's awesome.
Just be glad I'm not in chains. Here to announce 3 more.
That's awesome.
That's from our good friend, Valkyrie Harper.
Woohoo!
Happy New Year to Mike, Lily, and David. I can't wait to see how you use it. This card is to all 3 of us. Thank you, Valkyrie. That's totally cool. You know how I plan on winning this, using this? I'm going to get into total shape and do a show in Toronto and defeat you in a road race. That's how I plan on doing it. I owe you, sister. I'm 0-1-1 against you. But I will win. I will absolutely win. All right, so that's our cards. Now we have boxes to open. I'm sorry, we have box. We have box to open. No, we have boxes, I guess.
Can I trust you with this, or will you hurt yourself?
Whoa, straight razor? Dude, that's totally awesome. I've never had a straight razor in my hand. What seems?
It's not real sharp.
No, that's
It's
totally
just sharp
dull.
enough to cut.
You hope. All right.
No, it's sharp enough to cut. You gotta be careful.
All right. So this box we're opening right now, and this is a box from our good friends at Tweaked Audio.
Awesome.
And what did they send us for Christmas? They sent us. Oh my God! Look at this. They sent us swag. It's like 5 different. 1, 2, 3, 5 different.
That's green. That's awesome.
That's a green one. They were thinking of me clearly because I love green. So these are 5. Look at this, dude. 5 different Tweaked Audio
Very nice.
headsets. That's so awesome. Thank you, Bruce, and the people at Tweaked. Tweakedaudio.com/40. You can go there. They support the show. You can buy stuff and get cool stuff there. They have autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds. I have 5 pairs right now. I can choke myself to death 5 times while jerking off. And then they have cock ring watches, and then they have
You could choke yourself to death
gear.
once. You could choke yourself close to death 5 times.
All right. Again with the semantics. I don't get it.
There's math.
If anybody's going to die 5 times, it's going to be me. So while we're talking about, you can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page, and we've got all sorts of stuff there for you. We've got the Big Angry CD is available on sale, and I will sign that for you and get it out to you. We've got tweakedaudio.com/40. We've got the Amazon.com pennant that you can click on and shop in our store. Of course, the Schmitty Comes Alive download is there. The For the Life of Schmitty download is there. Artwork autographed by me, David, and Lily is available for purchase there. The Yurt Dirt Dirt shirt is available. I'm still working on the eBay store for the other shirts. If you want to take a look at those eventually, those will be there for sale, and we'll list them somewhere. And I think that, and also year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5 of this podcast are available individually or as a set. That would be the UN of Evil box set, and you can hear my past in the present. One more box to open. I almost cut my leg off there with the straight razor. Take that away from me before I do something terrible. This box is from Columbus, Ohio.
Woohoo!
It's got some awesome tissue paper. Alrighty. Let me open this up. Nah, dude. Hysterical. This is from our friend Christine Butcher, who you may recall met me at the Cleveland show, and then we wound up in a conference room talking for a while, and we ate free apples and had a discussion. And she included a note, and it says, "I'm sure the barbecue smells good and all, but this smells better. See you in 2014, and dinner is on me, Christine." And Christine sent me my giant minty soap. From Bliss, Mammoth Minty Scrub Soap. It's a super cooling Big Bath bar. And I need it because I'm down to my last one at my house. So that is an amazing gift from our friend Christine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, tweakedaudio.com/40 for sending headsets. Thank you, Christine, for sending me Mammoth Minty Scrub Soap. You know what I'm going to do, Christine? I'm going to get naked and use this in the morning. Take that. And you know what I'm going to do, tweakedaudio.com/40? I'm going to get naked and use your headsets in the morning. How's that sound? And you know what I'm going to do, Valkyrie Harbor? I'm going to get naked and read your card. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get naked and race you in the street. And we're going to run to Matthew Henshaw's house, and we're going to get naked for his cat. This is sounding weird all of a sudden. Jesus. And we're going to race over to see Louie and Nicole, and it's going to be so, oh my God, I got to put some clothes on. This thing just broke bad. All right, so thank you to everybody who sent us amazing things, and we do appreciate it very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for spending Wheel of Fortune night with me, your Christmas night, watching me and convincing your family members to watch me. That's just crazy. It's funny, Jill, because I told Jill, of course, that I was going to do the show, and she was going to get mentioned on it. And she's like, "Oh, my mom and dad are taping the Wheel of Fortune." And I'm like, why are your parents going to watch it? Hey, look at this 9-year-old that I listen to on the internet. That just makes no sense. But hopefully they enjoyed it. I don't know if they watched it or not, but everybody else who did was very supportive and very nice. And thank you for tweeting me and writing on Facebook and following along. And I think there's going to be a link to the show put up by somebody. Jill had mentioned possibly doing it, but other people also were talking about taping it and putting it on YouTube. And I have no idea how any of that works. All I know is I hope you enjoy it if you see it. And the people who did see it were very nice to me, and that was cool. And I appreciate it very much. Because this is my first Christmas in 20 years by myself. And I did just that. I spent it by myself. I didn't do really anything. Christmas Eve yesterday was... Christmas Eve was better than Christmas. I actually had Chinese food last night. I went with that tradition, Chinese food and a movie. But I didn't go to a movie. I got Chinese food. So I went and I picked up Chinese food at the place I like called the Mandarin Cafe. And I get home, and all I bought was soup and pancakes. But then I went to get my fortune cookie, and they didn't give me a fortune cookie. And you can't do Chinese food without a fortune cookie because then you're soulless. I mean, like you don't get into heaven, right? You're just forced to walk the earth and haunt everybody until you get your fortune. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to call them. Tell them they didn't give me a fortune cookie. So I called up and they're like, Mandarin Cafe. I said, hi, I was just in there and I picked up soup and pancakes about an hour ago and you guys didn't give me a fortune cookie. It's like, oh, well, sir, you no fortune cookie for takeout. I said, what? He goes, yeah, no, it's only for dine-in only, fortune cookie. If you want to take out, you have to ask. I said, so you're going to make me buy a fortune cookie? He said, well, no, if you ask, it's just we don't give for to go, but we're only for people. I don't know why he's Russian all of a sudden, but he's like, only for dine-in only. You don't get to take. And I said, all right, well, I need a favor. I said, I come every Christmas on Christmas Eve there, and it's tradition. Can you open a fortune cookie and break it open and read the fortune to me? I'm sorry? I said, well, seriously, I don't feel right to not having a fortune. It's Christmas, and it's the end of the year, and if I don't have a fortune to tell me what it's going to be like in 2014, I don't know what I'm going to do. So can you just open a cookie for me and crack it open and read the fortune to me? So you want me to open a cookie and read it to you on the phone? Yeah. Okay, hold on. He puts me on hold. But he just puts the phone down, like he doesn't hit a button, so I can hear what's going on. And he turns around, and I just hear Chinese. Okay, and look, I don't know Mandarin. If it was Cantonese, I would tell you exactly what he said. But Mandarin, I don't know. So he just starts talking, and all I hear is like, fortune, fortune, and then I just hear two guys just go, they just start, I mean, they laugh for like 90 seconds. Like they can't stop laughing. And my favorite part of it is like, he could make up fucking anything at all. Like he could just get in here and go, oh, I said, go fuck yourself, click. You know what I mean? Why doesn't he do that? He could do that. But I don't know why, but he talked and they laughed for 90 seconds and then they talked some more and they kept saying fortune and cookie and I could hear that, but everything else is in Chinese. And then after like 3 minutes, he comes back on the phone. He goes, oh, sir? And he goes, okay, are you ready? And I said, yeah, go ahead. He goes, okay. Hidden in the valley, beside an open stream, this will be the place where you will find your dream. I said, what? I go, that's the fortune? He goes, yes. I go, could you repeat it? And I grabbed a pen because I wanted to make sure I had it. And he goes, hidden in the valley, beside an open stream, this will be the place where you will find your dream. And I said, in bed. And he goes, yes, sir, in bed. I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. He goes, no problem. Merry Christmas. We see you next time. Thank you so much. But he read it to me. He read it. And I have no idea why. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't just tell me to fuck myself or make up some. And then again, when you think about it, he could have made that up because that's long for a fortune, right? That seems like you busted out a sonnet book out of a guy. How big's that cookie? That's got to be the biggest fucking cookie you've ever seen because that's like a stanza. That's not even a fortune. That's a fucking stanza. That guy just read me a stanza for 2014. And now, for the rest of the fucking year, I got to find a hidden valley and an open stream. That's fucked. Why can't it just be like I'm trapped in a cookie factory or some bullshit like that? That would have been easier. But instead, I got to find a valley and a stream because that's where my dream is. And God, good luck finding a valley with a stream with a bed next to it. That's going to be fucking incredible. But regardless, I still got to find it because that's where my dream is.
You're a vile one, Mr. Schmidt. You have turned my tin, your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Schmidt. Given the choice between the two of you, I'll take the seasick crocodile. You're a foul one, Mr. Schmidt. You're a nasty, nasty squirt. Your heart is full of unwashed socks, your soul is full of dirt, Mr. Schmidt. The three words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote, you're dirt, dirt. moldy purple spots, Mr. Schmidt. Your soul is an appalling dump heap, overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of deplorable rubbish imaginable. Mangled up and tangled up knots. Nauseate Mr. Schmidt with the noxious super nos. You're a crooked jerky jockey and you drive a crooked horse, Mr. Schmidt. You're a three-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce.